basically escaped from the bandit cave with the barely alive, you guys, and made it to a relatively safe spot, about 400 yards away from the entrance, and kind of overlooking where the cave mouth was. And over time, you saw a couple of the remaining bandits walked out a little bit and kind of fanned out a bit, kind of watching what was going, but didn't really move out into the woods very far. Shortly thereafter, you heard a kind of an ear-piercing, strange kind of attempting to mimic an animal sound that came across, and then a hooded figure on horseback came galloping into the area at very high speed. The horse was obviously being ridden very hard. You could see it frothing at the mouth. Rode directly up to the bandits. As that sound went out, you saw what you guys assume is the bandit captain walk out. The one that never attacked you guys or never did anything in the cave. He just kind of casually strolled up behind as the rest of the bandits attacked you guys. And they seemed to have some sort of animated conversation. You guys couldn't really hear it because of the distance. But at some point, the hooded figure took action and killed all three of the bandits very, very easily. From there, they looted a couple things off of what you assumed the bandit captain. Looked like some sort of a globe. Elendo's bat saw the bandit captain talking into this globe in the back of the cave, and also some sort of rolled up piece of parchment was also taken off the bandit captain. From there, they got back on the horse and immediately headed back towards town at a very fast pace. You guys decided to go and loot the cave. You found a whole bunch of merchant supplies, everything from trade goods to weapons to armor, stuff to repair ships, all sorts of stuff. Looks like incoming merchandise is what it looked like ultimately. Some of the stuff that was there also had some of the sigils that you saw in the blacksmith shop that was there. So you guys kind of took a sampling of that stuff and made sure to get a lot of the stuff that had the sigils on it loaded up in the wagon that you guys had used multiple times as kind of a barricade, and then moved your way back to town. Took you quite a while because of the heavy load, obviously, and the wagon's condition, but you eventually made it back there. As you kind of got to town or near town, you saw the telltale signs of black smoke, and eventually found out that there was a tragedy that had happened in town while you guys were away, and that the Flying Fish, which is the ship that saved you guys out on the seas, had caught fire and drifted out into the harbor where it sank, and you can still see the remnants of that. Through a little bit of conversation with some folks, including Thor and the blacksmith, you found out that it wasn't just a fire, that it was clearly the Regent's people sending a message, and that Captain Scurvy, who died, specifically named Hackett, who Thorin told you was the captain of Dagos Full Sail's Angerboard, the harbor king of Murin, the one that Murin is the one that took over this town not long ago. That Hackett was captain of his personal guard, and she's well known to kind of everybody there. So, and that Hackett is on loan basically to the Regent from Murin right now.
Who is Hackett?
You found out what's that? I'm sorry.
Who is Hackett? I'm sorry.
Hackett is this a woman who apparently initiated the slaughter of the people on the Flying Fish.
Okay. Who did we find that out from?
Yeah, I forgot how we found that out too. I don't remember even finding that out.
Thorin told you that. Thorin and Whisper actually got a hold of Captain Scurvy before he died on the dock, and had some conversation with him, and he kind of named her as the one who instigated the whole thing.
And did he tell us anything else about her? Like who she is?
Thorin?
Did Thorin say anything else about Hackett?
Just who she was, and that she was here from Murin. But no, nothing. You guys didn't ask him anything else.
That'd be one to talk to. Okay.
Hold on, let's see what my wife wants.
Getting a phone call.
Hello.
Hey, Hey,
I
I'm
saw.
gonna. You should mute yourself.
No. I'm good, thank you. Okay, bye. Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't talk about anything important because I was like, you should mute yourself because I am recording.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah, no worries. Nothing was said.
No.
You didn't give your SS number.
Nice. From there, Thorin told you kind of his whole story about the town's origins and how it all went. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, or if you want me to run through it again. But the Cliff Notes version is that Thorin moved here after the Dragon Wars and kind of was just a resident. The governor that was here when he moved in was killed shortly after being an orc raid, and the people of the town kind of nominated Thorin to be the new governor of the town. Things started to progress well under Thorin. That coupled with the fact that Captain Scurvy found these anglerfish, which they then found had, a lot of the pieces of them were highly sought after by magic users and wanted a lot of their parts. And so they found a trade good that they never had before and started to establish some profitable trade with some folks coming in and out of town. And when Murin caught wind of this, they sent a delegation and basically said that they would provide sanitation, engineering for roads and for everything else, help establish trade routes, and then also help with security by establishing a garrison and some a guard for the town as well. Thorin knew that he couldn't compete with Murin from a people perspective and was not going to go to war with them because they would have just been wiped out. And so he ceded power to Murin, to Dagos, who then promptly installed Regent Heinrich to oversee the town, and that was about 6 months ago at this point. And the only thing that's kind of been done at this point was there is a city guard now, but they are basically just the regent's personal guard. They're not really doing much of anything for the town at all. And yeah, that's kind of what he told you. After that, you guys kind of walked around and saw some stuff going on. You tracked the assassin that killed the three bandits to a house kind of in the southwest corner of town, which was Gimby's house. And from the description and from what was said, Thorin basically told you he didn't believe that was Gimby. But that was kind of the last spot that the bat was hovering, was above this house in that southwest corner. So other than that, you know that there's a funeral that's taking place this evening for the crew of the Flying Fish at the cemetery, which is basically to the east of town. If you walk out from kind of the blacksmith shop through town and out in that direction, there's a clearing out that way that has the cemetery. And that's kind of where we left off, unless you guys have something else you thought of.
We did go back to our ship just for a quick check-in.
You did, just to make sure nothing was going on. And when you talked to Shalrog about what was happening, he also indicated that he didn't believe that the Flying Fish burning was an accident and that everybody should be careful. So, but you did drop off some equipment from the load. You left the stuff that was marked with the sigils that you saw with Thorin's assistant, and he put it in Thorin's warehouse, and then you guys took the remainder of the stuff to Shalrog at the boat, who then promptly started putting it to good use.
Bling.
Ring!
It's done. Okay. Well, where are we at right now, by the way? I was on a train, so I might have missed that
I'm trying to remember where you guys stopped, actually. Oh, you guys went back to Shaggy Mare. That's where you went.
Oh, yeah.
So I can actually bring that up for you guys if you want, since you're in here. you go.
Hey. I like how they use all the same inn for every place.
That is funny.
It's like the typical. It's like a company
I
that like puts
totally stole it. Totally stole it.
Me too.
I was like,
Where
that
I
looks
had
like a
it.
good one.
It
So
is
yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, you guys are there. I'm assuming you wake up in the morning, do your thing.
Did we spent the night last night?
Oh,
Then
sorry. I'm not. I got my timeline wrong because you guys were kind of middle of the day. Just return to the Shaggy Mare to kind of regroup, and then you know that the funeral is going on this evening. So we'll just say it's midday for the heck of it.
Were we coming to the Shaggy Mare for a reason? I thought besides just resting.
to talk about everything that Whisper knows.
Yeah, Whisper was telling you his story of everything.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to Thorin's instead.
Right.
Yeah, and Thorin wasn't there. That's right, because we talked to his assistant. And then we went to Thorin's house, didn't we?
Yep.
Yep. And then you found Thorin, and you actually got him to talk to you because Whisper was with you. Yep.
Right. Okay. And then so what? I don't remember what our plans were. Maybe I missed some of it.
We were talking about doing some reconnaissance on where that guy disappeared. The house that Thorin didn't think was the assassin, but maybe we thought he was hiding out there because all the windows and doors were blocked up, so your bat couldn't see inside.
Yeah.
So we were talking about doing some reconnaissance on that and checking it out in the meantime.
Yes, I think we'll have to talk to this. What's that girl's name? That Marin? Is that her name? Or
Hackett.
The one that had the
Hackett.
bolt hack. What's her name?
Hackett.
Hackett.
She's the one that actually killed Scurvy and instigated the attack.
They did the orders. I guess that's what she is.
Yeah, for once you guys know, the only woman that was named was Hackett is her name.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I wasn't aware of this Hackett girl. I think finding her could be a key, as well as this assassin fellow.
Well, we might be running into her at the funeral today. Would you think?
Well, if she ordered their death, I'm afraid not. If she's the one that ordered the death, you usually don't go to the funeral of the people you murdered.
I don't think that. I was thinking that she didn't have any reason to believe we would expect her. But you obviously could be right. You think we should? I mean, Thorin's going to be our best lead on finding her, don't you think?
Well, it seems it may be common knowledge since other people know who sent the orders. We definitely need to go to the funeral either way. But I believe we have a few hours, do we not? What time is it? Okay.
It's midday.
Do you do we happen to remember or what Scurvy or Thorin said on how they knew it was her?
No, you didn't. Whisper didn't tell you guys anything specifically about that. He just said that Scurvy named her as the attacker.
That reminds me, where did that boy go?
You look around, you don't see him.
He's Batman.
That's why I don't trust him. He can't talk, and then he just disappears.
He should talk like Batman. That would be better.
Swear to me. Well, do you want to just check out that house on the outskirts for now, knowing that we don't want that lead to go too cold?
Yes, I think assassins sleep during the day. At least the books I've read about them.
You know a lot about assassins, old man.
Well, yes, I read a lot. When you're held up in Candlekeep for as many years as I have, you get to know a lot.
So
let's have a meal, and I have a student to talk to. So I don't forget. I didn't really forget
Okay.
last time. It was just too hard to do on the train. So,
Yeah. That's cool.
um,
Okay.
and
Um.
I go to visit Ish.
Okay. Now you guys grab a booth. No problem. You know, you've still got the same booth that you had
All right.
before. If
Imagine
you
Ish
want
is
that,
there, passed out or something. I don't know.
yeah. You go look, and he's not in the booth.
Oh,
I think you
okay.
left him in the room, didn't you?
Well, I did. I had someone watch him. Let me go check. I go to a waitress
Mm-hmm.
that I seen that knew about him. I'm
Yes.
like,
Yes. Sir?
I'm looking for
Ah.
my student Ish. Have you seen him?
Yes. The little one, right?
Yes.
He's. I believe he returned to his room. He said something about needing privacy.
Oh, oh no. Okay. Well, I'll go check on him. Pardon me, fellows. I must go check on Ish. He might have had an accident.
Would you like us to accompany you?
No, I think I'll be okay. I'll of course message you if there's something I miss, and I go upstairs.
Okay.
And I go,
You go upstairs.
and yeah. Right now, I guess I have a bat. I'll change it to owl in a bit. Yeah, I'll probably have bat because it's blind sight, anyways. So I'm gonna go up there, and then I'm gonna send my bat. Is there a window to the room?
There is. Yep.
I'm gonna send my bat outside to the window, see what's in there before I go up to the room.
Okay.
Just
You go up there, and as the bat enters, the window's open, by the way.
okay.
Notice that the room is in shambles. There's looks like some claw marks, small claw marks in the comforter on the top of the bed there. Some things have been knocked off the small nightstand that was in there. It looks like there may have been a little bit of a scuffle, but you don't see anybody in there.
Okay, I'm gonna message the guys. It appears someone has been into our room and probably have taken Ish. I'm guessing, unless he had a really upset stomach. But I think you should get up here.
All right, I would ready to open up then.
Okay.
All right,
You
I'm
guys, I'm
probably just at the
assuming-
top of the stairs.
Okay.
My
Yeah, you guys go up.
My bat's
If
already
you're-
in there and doesn't see anyone.
Right. So you guys head up. If you remember, the room was at the top of the stairs. On the first door on your left was your room. So you guys kind of go up to the door, and as you kind of get close, it's pretty readily visible that the door is only partially on its hinges up there.
All right, I'll go in first.
I don't think Ish did this. I don't think he has the strength.
Okay.
Unless he learns some spells pretty fast.
You push the door open. It swings on one hinge and kind of precariously leans one direction. You can tell that was some decent force placed on it. Looks like it right at the lock itself, but the doors, weren't overly well made, so it kind of broke off the top hinge as well. So it swings a little awkwardly as you open the door, and you do see looks like the room had some sort of a scuffle. You definitely see some claw marks in the comforter on the top of the bed there. Some stuff's knocked around. There's some papers, and let me see real quick. Yep, that's all you notice as you walk in.
What are those papers that are around?
Okay, go over and look a little closer at the papers, and you actually do notice that in the side of the bed, you kind of missed it because you were quickly looking for people and for everything else. Kind of in the footboard of the bed, there's actually, it looks like a small knife, small dagger of some sort that's pinned in there, and there's a note that's stuck on there that says "Cobalt lovers have no place here." Scrawled in common.
Who would have done such a thing?
Wicked men.
Indeed, very wicked men. This was just a child. I know kobolds aren't known for their kindness and are generally monsters, but this was just a child.
No, so it looks like there was a pretty significant struggle in the room. Do we notice any other
It's
signs?
investigation if you want some more information about what you think might happen. Anybody
Yeah.
want?
I'm gonna investigate the dagger. I want to know if it has something to do with that. Did I see this hilt on that guy that murdered the people at the cave? And then you can investigate the room, whatever.
Did you see the assassin? You mean the one that killed the three of them?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Or anyone else I might have run into.
Strider, you don't really get any more information looking around. It just looks like a scuffle in general, and there's definitely some small claw marks in the covering on the bed.
Boom, that's pretty high.
I'd like
Yeah,
to,
you take a look at the dagger. I'm sorry. You take a look at the dagger. Yeah, it looks common to you. It doesn't look like anything specific. There are no marks on it. It looks like a pretty commonly made, maybe a knife for even whittling, to maybe not even a dagger. But yeah, as you look around the room and kind of take things in, Elindo, you can definitely see that the marks in the top, you'd bet money came from Heish, probably being dragged away. As he dragged away, turned around and clawed the bed as he was being pulled away. And it looks like there definitely was some sort of a scuffle that happened here. Although you don't see any blood or anything that looks like it might have been that kind of an altercation.
Can I try to track Heish's scent?
Scent. You can look for tracks and see if there's anything that you see on the ground. It's going to be pretty tough to tell you that, but go ahead.
I think I'm pretty good tracking though. What do I roll?
Let me look. Maybe survival.
Yep.
That's not bad, but it's not good enough.
Is Heish humanoid?
He's a kobold.
Is that a humanoid?
I think.
No.
No, yeah, no.
I think it's a goblinoid.
Yeah, exactly.
I just get advantage against humanoids. That's why I was asking.
Oh, I see.
I'd like to go speak with Matilda, the barmaid.
Sure.
Yes, that's a good idea. I'll clean up here
Okay.
while you do that, and I'll be down in a second. So I'm gonna use
Okay.
prestidigitation to clean up the room.
Okay, no problem. There's definitely some stuff scattered about, some stuff overturned and the rest, but it doesn't take you long. This is not a big room.
Is that
So-
like fix the door though and stuff too?
I'd say the biggest issue is the door is definitely broken.
Sean, does that fix the door? Alondo.
No,
Does it-
this just cleans up the room. You can see me casting spells, and any stains and things that are like out of place go back into place and stuff like that.
So
Yeah.
I would try to just, I don't know if it's broken beyond repair, but if I could rehinge the door, if it's just off the hinge, I would try to pop it back on before we head out to make it look like less obvious that something happened here.
Yeah, the hinge itself doesn't look like it's overly broken, but the locking mechanism does. You can tell it looks like it was either shouldered or kicked or something to break that loose. So the jam on the inside of the door is definitely splintered and broken and not going to go back together without some serious repair. The hinge, on the other hand, yeah, you can get it back together.
We're gonna have to demand a new room. This is unbelievable service.
Well,
We'll just say you take the hilt of your short sword or sword and just kind of hammer in the couple of the nails at the top, and it's a makeshift enough repair to be able to get it to close. So
I tell you what, we must tell them that there's been a break-in, and maybe they've seen someone down here. Oh, and we can go talk to him.
Yep.
You're already down there,
Okay.
right, Owen?
That's where I decided to go because I'm not a very good investigator. So
Mm-hmm.
all right, you head downstairs. You see Matilda behind the bar. The mood is still very somber in here, just like last time. It's not that long since you talked to her last about everything going on. So she walks up and says, "Back so soon?"
who has been upstairs? Someone has been in our room.
Someone's been in your room. I thought you were sleeping with me. What? Someone's been in our room?
Someone has been in my friend's room.
I have not heard of such things. When did this occur? How long has it been since you've been to your room?
Been about a day, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been about a day, but the door was broken in and our companion is missing, and I am very upset and troubled by this.
Broken, you say? Would think that would make quite a bit of noise. I wonder when that would have occurred that nobody would have noticed. It's very odd. Well, we'll definitely get it repaired for you. And you said your friend was taken, which I haven't seen. What companion are you missing?
The small one. We left him here because it was very weak, and there was obviously a struggle.
The Cobalt. I'd love to say that surprises me, but you know how people can be. People get a reputation for what happens, what typically people will do, and they tend to take action. But I'm not condoning that. I just I'd hate to say it doesn't surprise me. But we'll look into it. We'll look into it. I'll get one of my guys up there to fix it right now. But maybe you should go and talk to the magistrate. He's the one that handles all of the criminal activities that happen in town here, and he probably would be the one to get the city watch on it, make sure that they can investigate it and find out what kind of foul deeds have happened here.
Could you tell me who you think it might have been, or who might have access to that upstairs?
Well, every town has its troublemakers and its ruffians. I suppose it could have been Rickle and his band. They are always making trouble and petty theft and causing issues in town that we always have to put down, although it hasn't. They've gotten bolder in the last few months, so that could explain. That might be one spot to start. But again, I urge you to go talk to the magistrate and let him get his men on it. It's I would hate to see anything happen to you and your friends, or with something that may be cleared up easily.
I worry for my friend's life. That's why I am interested in moving quickly on this. We'll speak with the magistrate. I have nothing against the law enforcement, but can you point me in the direction of this Rickles? I'm not good with names. Could you write it down for me?
Certainly. She grabs a scrap piece of paper, jots down the name Rickles, Rickuls, Rickles. She says, they tend to wander. I don't know that they have a permanent residence anywhere in town. It seems that they're all over the place, but I have seen them frequent, kind of. Seems to be hanging by the docks quite a bit. It seems to be easy pickings for those few visitors we do get. They seem to hang in that direction and browse the shops, and it seems to be easy targets for them. So yeah, maybe where you want to start.
Tell me what he looks like.
Well, he's a thug, so he's kind of what you'd expect. He's a middle-aged human, kind of balding on the top. He's got a big, full beard, a little heavy set. He's a little pretty plump around the middle, but he's pretty large, and he tends to walk with a little bit of a limp. Rumor has it he caught something at one of the houses in another town and never recovered from it. So he kind of limps to one side, but he's always dirty. I've never seen him cleaned up, and he's exactly what you'd expect. He's very rough around the edges.
Hmm.
And he's not allowed back in here because he doesn't pay his tabs.
How would he have gotten in here then to get upstairs if he's not allowed in here?
It could have been one of his band too. I don't know all the men that run with him, but he's definitely the head of the group, that's for sure.
Thank you. You're a good and true woman.
And again, come back anytime. The bed, I'll keep it warm for you.
I appreciate it. All right. I go find the other ones and I tell them there's a bald fat man named Rickles down by the dock. But he and his people did this.
Well, why? Why would he do this?
Because he's an asshole.
Well, we need to eat. Let us eat.
There's no meat down by the dock. We could eat there.
How can you worry about food at a time like this? Hashish is gone.
It's not so much I'm worried about food. It's just that, well, I would like to make my bat into a cat, and that takes time. But
I don't know what you're talking about, old man, but if you need to eat, we can eat.
well, it's not that I need to eat. I just want to make my bat into a cat, and that takes about an hour of time. And well, yeah, I guess we should maybe go down and talk to them. And yeah, let's go.
Whatever you need to do.
After we talk to them, I can do that. See,
Okay.
as a way I explain how a bat has great sight, can see anything, and then I go through how a cat has a very good sense of smell, and that's why I want to use the cat because.
Wow.
And I go through all the technical things of the cat, like the anatomy of the cat and all this stuff.
My
I
head.
dissected a cat once, and yeah, I just keep blabbing on about it. Now you can
That's
see
awesome.
I'm a little bit irritated, so.
All right. You guys head to the docks?
Yes.
Yep, I follow along.
And anyways, and that's the tail is connected. Well, I don't think I need to explain that. Oh, we're here.
I don't think I quite understand, but okay.
Yes, it's probably something you'd have to do yourself, actually. It's quite interesting. Anyways, we're here at the docks.
Yeah, you guys walk out of the Shaggy Mare, and like we said before, the mood's still pretty somber in town. There's definitely some people going about their business. They're still selling their goods and the rest, but there's kind of a general feeling overall of some sadness in town. So you kind of make your way down to the docks, and there's some foot traffic out, but there's not a lot. But as you make your way down to the docks, you do see kind of out in the distance there. The remnants of the flying fish smoldering kind of out there still. It's just the stern of the boat sticking out and some thin wisp of smoke kind of still trailing off of it.
Such a shame, really. Do you know where these Rickle? Is that his name?
Rickles. Yes.
Rickles.
Just down here by the dock was what I was told.
Let's go ask someone. Is there a guy? Is there like a dock handler or dock man?
Yeah, there's some people that are moving some cargo still down on the docks there. That first dock, not this one here, but this dock is still kind of roped off. That's where the flying fish was docked. But the ones that are further to the north, there's some activity on there of people loading and unloading cargo from there.
Okay, I'm gonna go to see if there's like a dock handler.
Yeah, there's definitely kind of a wharf master that's kind of set up in one of the buildings there. It's kind of the center. I'll tell you this one right here. That building right there. It's got a pretty good. There's a sign over it, and there's somebody sitting there that's definitely jotting things down on kind of a book as people bring. Looks like they're trading parchment and some other documents back and forth. Somebody will come up, hand him some stuff. He'll jot some stuff down, hand something back, and then they'll continue on their way.
Okay. Well, we can either ask one of the handlers or we can ask the wharf master. What do you think?
You know, the wharf. From what we've heard about this guy, the wharf master might be a good source of information. I'm sure they don't like the thugs hanging around here either, right?
That's true.
Suppose so. Unless, of course, they work for the magistrate, who is, I think, corrupt. Let's try the wharf handler then.
Okay.
We walk up to the wharf handler.
Okay.
Before we go in, I'll take a look through my bat's eyes above just to see if anyone's following us.
Okay.
Would
You can
like
make
me to roll?
it's his perception, right? Go ahead, you can make a perception check.
You can't really use sound, so because it's probably too noisy here to be able to tell. So
That's cool.
okay, 16.
You don't think anybody's following you that you can tell.
Okay.
Okay. So you open the door, you walk in, and there indeed is a man sitting behind the desk, and he looks up from writing at his desk and says, "State your business."
Well, hello. The name is Orlando, and this is Owen, and this is Strider. We're out-of-towners, and we're staying in a room at the Shaggy Inn, and, well, it looks... Let me just
Do you
get to the
know if
chase.
there's a Rickles here?
Yes.
If you're looking for information, I suggest you make your way to the magistrate's office. They handle all incoming travelers and can handle any issues or questions you may have. I'm here for trade goods. Is there anything you're here either bringing in, importing, or exporting out of our fair town? That's what I'm here for.
We're looking to export some people that are giving you trouble by the name of Rickles. So if you can point us in the direction of those goods, we'll gladly take them off your hands.
He kind of gives you an inquisitive look. You can roll a persuasion check if you like.
I can try.
If I may, and then I scoot over 2 silver pieces to him. Maybe give you advantage.
Ah!
Oh, not that you need it.
He kind of reaches out and grabs the silver and slides it back. And what was that you'd be looking for again? Some information, you said?
I'm looking for a man named Rickles, who's
Yes.
very fat and bald and dirty, and who tends to not be a generally good person.
If it's the same Rickles that I'd be thinking of, you're right. He's the opposite of good. He does frequent the docks from time to time, and we get nothing but complaints from the likes of folks like you, people, especially people who are new to places. They tend to try and take advantage of you folk. I haven't seen Rickles in a few days, but you're in the right spot. He tends to hang out down here. You're a bit early though. He's probably still sleeping off last night's activities.
Kidnapping.
I mean,
Yes, it's kidnapping. Yes.
Do you happen to know where Rickles lives, so we might be able to pay him a visit?
I don't know that he lives in town. I see him around in lots of places, but never seems to be the same. He comes to the dock to make his money, if you know what I mean, but I don't see him really returning to any place in particular. But he's definitely one to brag about his conquests. So I'm sure there are some folks that know some more than I do.
Up and down the docks, do you think?
Yeah, no disrespect, but you guys definitely look as if you're from out of town. So I don't think it'll take long for word to get out that there's some targets, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes. Well, I thank you for your time. And any more questions? Anyone? Okay. We best get going.
You guys be safe, and let me know if you need to ship any goods.
Good. Well met.
Indeed.
So we can just look around the docks. Do we find this guy? How about while you guys look around?
How about while you guys take a look around? I switch up my bet.
Okay. I can look around the docks.
I mean, he can't be too hard to miss. I mean, he's just a big fat guy, as you say.
So I've been told.
So what kind of dock hands do we see working here?
What kind?
Like, are they couple guys? Are they middle work? Like what? Like, yeah, just a couple guys, like 2, 3, how many?
Yeah, you don't see it. There's not a ton of activity here. There's one boat kind of on the dock that you guys stopped at there, that there's some deckhands that keep running periodically up to the wharf master there. The name on the back of the boat, which one is that? The Soulless Guppy is right there, is the one that they're loading and unloading cargo from, in the center of the boat. The other ones are pretty empty. You do know that there was another boat here when you guys came into town before, and it's gone. So the only ones that are here now is your boat, kind of down on the end, and the Soulless Guppy here, and that's it.
Any other people like on shore, like going by? Like I gotta look at the map, but like any other activities, town folk walking by? Like what's the scene look like?
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few out perusing. There's a few stalls that are set up there selling some trade goods. You guys actually do see your Elendo's love interest, Alfred the turnip vendor, is there actually set up selling turnips.
What time
So
was I supposed to meet him at 9 or something?
I don't think you set a time. You guys were going to have dinner together. But you do have, there are a couple other vendors there. There's the same vendor that was selling the gray and the brown meat is there as well.
That's
you see him as well. And then there's a few others. Looks like there's some selling some trade goods. There's some selling some, you can tell even from this distance, some very poorly made weapons. They're very shiny and very fleshy. You can tell that they're made for show, even from this distance. But they're all quietly hawking their wares.
Well, I'm busy doing my spell stuff.
Yeah, you go do that. I will go up and down and speak with pretty much anybody that I come across, asking them when the last time they saw any bandits around here was.
Okay. How long do you do that for?
An hour.
Okay. Let me just roll for that. So about 30 minutes into your search, you do come across one of the vendors that's there, and he appears to be selling, looks like, some basic rations and what he's dubbing as adventurer gear. And as you kind of have the conversation, he says, "You may not want to take the course of action you're taking, friend, because I don't want to see you have the same problems that tend to befall folk who go after this Rickles fellow. He's not a good person."
My friend, one of our friends has been kidnapped. And I am not willing to let such a gentle soul disappear.
And what's this guy look like? The guy that's speaking?
He's very small. He's probably pushing 70 age-wise. He doesn't appear to be human. He's definitely a mix of something, but he's pretty small. He's probably 3 3 to 3.5 feet tall, so he's coming up to Owen's knee. You didn't really notice it before because he was, as you kind of talk to him, you notice and look over the side that he's standing on a pretty tall box behind his cart. So he's actually pretty close to head level to you, but he's very small, very frail. You can tell, but he's got these very small spectacles that kind of ride on the bridge of his nose, and he's more wrinkled than he is skin at this point. He's definitely very, very kind of at the age, and you can tell that he's not really all that concerned. He's more concerned about you than he is himself. So.
And what was he selling?
What's that?
What's he selling?
He's selling kind of what he's dubbing as adventurer gear. So there's some coils of rope, some backpacks, some rations, some lanterns, candles, kind of basic adventuring stuff is all kind of laid out here. But he says, yeah, I don't want anything bad to happen to you. So I understand if your friend's missing. And he generally leaves me alone because I pay for his protection like a lot of us do. So he generally leaves me alone, but he kind of looks in and he kind of looks around and you can see he kind of gets a shocked expression on his face suddenly, and he says, "And sir, I can't possibly sell you this bag for this amount of money. You're going to have to come up with your price a little higher." And you can tell that he's very, very nervous, and he's got some issue, and he's kind of glancing over.
Yeah, I'd look in the direction he's looking in and see what I see there.
Well, you don't, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you don't know. So you look in that direction, Strider, and you see that there's actually a gentleman that's kind of leaning against a small building kind of at the end of the docks, and he's kind of leaning back and just kind of leaning in one area and just kind of casually looking up and down the docks there.
And did I get a glimpse of like what he looked like? Could you describe him?
Sure. Yeah, he appears to be human from this distance. You're about 60 feet away at this point, so you're not super close, but human. He's just kind of in basic leathers. There's nothing really distinct about him at all. That's kind of the easiest way to describe him. He's about as typical as you could imagine. He looks like he would blend into a crowd extremely easy. He's got brown hair that's relatively short cut. He's got brown eyes. He's got kind of a 5 o'clock shadow beard going on. You don't see any visible weapons hanging from him, but he's in some pretty rough looking leather armor, just kind of basic stuff. And he's got a very casual pose laying there. And you look over in that direction, and he doesn't make eye contact with you. He's actually just kind of looks like he's kind of scanning the docks as if he's taking a break.
Can I roll history or I don't know if it would be history, whatever it would be, to recall any information I know about kobolds?
Yeah, it'd be history. What would you like to know?
So is there anything that their race is like people like look for in the race? Anything valuable? Do people trade them? Do people just hate them because they're bad? Like, is there any distinct things other than that they're usually bad creatures that are mean? That's really all I know, and that they're lizards.
Yeah. So the common knowledge of people, especially who live in cities and don't do any adventure, so commoners, would be that kobolds are they're evil, and they're one of these. They're very selfish, and they're pack kind of hunters, and that they'll kill you on sight as soon as look at you. That they're
physical. Besides being short, are they hide, skin, scale?
What kobolds?
Yeah,
kobolds have scales. I don't know if I showed you the picture. I can show it to you again real quick.
Yeah, I think I did. And is that guy that's leaning? If I can kind of casually just keep looking from the area, does he look like he's looking over the guys here?
With your high perception, you definitely notice that he is trying his best to be very, very casual with what's going on, but he is definitely watching what's happening with you guys at the stall.
And I'm saying, old man, are you feeling well? We had a conversation and you changed the topic. Do you need to lay down? Because we were talking about a big fat man named Rickles.
He says even louder, "Well, sir," and he's nodding with his head now. You see, I understand that you don't have a lot of coin, but if you want to purchase any of these goods, you're going to have to at least come up a little so that I can make some money, because otherwise I don't know that we have anything else to discuss."
Oh, you say I need to pay you for the information? I can do that.
You can tell he just kind of sinks a bit. Perhaps you, sir. Is there anything I can interest you in? He's pointing at Strider now.
I've actually really been interested in. We've been searching from town to town for a very unique item. Maybe you could point me in the direction of someone that could help me find this. I don't think you're going to have this here. It's very, very hard to come by. My family crest is a cobalt scale shield, and I have been searching town after town to find cobalt scales. Do you have any idea where we might be able to locate something like this, or who might have that information for us?
That is a very interesting and unique item. I'm not familiar, honestly. Perhaps I could do some asking around for you, and
please, sir,
find out if anyone has such an item.
We would pay top dollar for this type of material, but we need to see the merchandise first. Obviously, all of our cobalt scale shields have to be handmade by us, so this is something that we have to actually see. Please, we will pay top dollar for it if you could do some asking around for us.
Certainly. Give me some time, and I'll see what I can do.
Is now really the time to be asking about this? I mean, I just thought we had other things that we needed to be doing. That just seems. I mean, I guess if it's important to you, okay. I just thought that
he's going to be doing the searches for us. I don't think this gentleman's going to have us waiting here while he's asking around.
He's very confused at this point. You can tell that he thought he grasped the whole thing, and he's not sure that he does now. Give me an hour or so, and I'll have some information for you one way or another. Does that sound good?
That sounds good, my friend. And your name was?
I don't know. Hold on. It's Odal. Odal.
All right. I'll check back with you later. But remember, it's very important. We would have to see the merchandise before the shield is made. It has to be verified. There's a lot of cobalt scales on the market these days. It's crazy.
And alive?
Yes. If that wasn't implied, we have to see the good condition. Obviously, I would only be willing to pay top dollar for a very healthy cobalt. The younger, the better.
I'll see what can be done.
I'll bid you then, Odo.
I don't know what any of this is about.
All right, you guys walk off, or what do you guys do from there?
I would walk off. I don't know if my friend here is following, but I would walk off at that point. And I would nudge Owen to
give yourself inspiration for that one, Strider. That was good. Very good.
Okay.
All right. So you guys wander off. Do you guys head back to Alundo, or where do you guys go?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, because he said just an hour, right? It's probably been about an hour, right?
Yeah,
I would.
probably.
Yeah, you guys walk back. It took you about 30 minutes to find anybody that would talk to you about anything, actually. So you guys head back. We'll say you finish that up.
Yeah. So I mean, if once we walk up to Alundo, I would ask him if he's done his task. Would you like to pay that assassin a visit?
It's been an hour, you said?
Yeah, for you, we'll say it's been an hour.
All right. I have my cat. Oh, yes, I just got done here. What did you find?
Fuck all.
They were pretty tight-lipped over there around the docks. No one wanted to give us too much information here. We asked around, and I have a local town vendor looking into the matter for us. He said he might have some more information for us in an hour.
Oh,
You
I
did?
see.
Who are you talking to?
Right now, I don't know what you're asking.
I
I'm talking to Alondo right now.
Yes. You said
Chuck, now
a
you're
vendor.
confusing me.
what?
A
We were
vendor.
talking to the same person, right?
Yes, you were.
We might need a little sidebar because I'm not sure how he got so confused.
I think
Nothing.
I think Owen's just playing Owen's character, who's
Yeah,
not
Owens
very.
is playing Owen's character. Yeah, I know his.
Well, if yes, I need to stop by the inn on the way. If we could.
Did we leave you at the end? I'm sorry, I thought that's where you
Oh,
were.
okay, yeah, sure, I'll be at the end. Yeah, that's fine.
I figured, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get stuff for the cobalt, and I'm gonna have the cat sniff it. Because the
Okay.
cat gets advantage on smell.
Sniffy whiffy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they can do that, and then
Do it up.
and maybe some other items in there too. Like, was there anything that, anything that wasn't ours that was left in the room?
That slip of paper and the whittling knife that was
All right.
used in place.
I'll bring that with us, and then whatever paper that Ish was drawing on, so that we can get the smell
Okay.
of it or whatever.
Okay.
So, on
so we have it
while
with us.
while we're looking outside the front of the inn, I'd like to kind of check for tracks again to see if I notice anything that looks like it would be a limp,
Okay.
a person that's walking with a limp, or
Yep.
a person that's carrying, which obviously would stand out with my tracking knowledge, a person that's carrying somebody that's fighting or struggling.
Yep. Sure. You can do that.
So, investigate?
Survival.
No. Survival? Yeah.
Yep. You see a lot of tracks, actually.
See everything.
I see a ton of tracks. But yes, you do see actually something that appears odd. It definitely looks as if there's kind of a staggering gait to one of the sets of tracks that's there that looks relatively fresh. Doesn't look very old. Maybe within the last day or so. And it does head directly down to almost exactly the path that you guys followed to head to the dock from the Shaggy Mare.
So, I would let guys know I have a lead here. I think this might be the guy we're looking for, and I should point to the tracks. And they may not see anything in the dust, but I kind of just start following them along.
Okay.
I'll follow you. I
Yeah,
trust you.
we'll follow.
All right.
Oh,
I'll
either way,
go back to the wall.
good job, Shep. Who do you think this is?
Well, from my training, it appears to be a fat man with a hobble that may be carrying a heavy load.
Oh,
Hey, we're looking for a fat man with a limp.
In tracking terms, limps and hobbles go hand in hand. Look, this is a pile of dust here, Owen.
oh,
I can't distinguish a limp from a hobble.
You are smart. You are definitely smart.
So you follow it. It's relatively easy to follow, actually, for somebody who knows what they're looking at. Owen Alondo, you have no idea. It looks like there literally is a well-worn path that's just kind of wandering through the center of town. Looks like a well-used area. But yeah, you follow pretty easily, Strider, and it seems to cut through in between the buildings. So I'll just kind of show you guys on here. So it kind of starts here, moves to this building here. Cuts up in between here, cuts this direction, and then looks like it heads down towards the docks this way, in this direction.
Yeah, I would definitely just keep following it until something changed.
Okay.
This way.
You're
following kind of that direction.
Oh, I've read stories about great rangers who were able to track miles of people. This is magnificent.
These tracks are approximately 8.75 hours old.
Yep, you head up this direction, keep following it. Kind of.
I pick up
Sorry, go
some
ahead.
of the dirt and lick it.
Okay.
Right there.
It definitely adds to the specters, to the whole showmanship of it. They're all impressed. There's no doubt.
Is
Wow.
that how it's done? I go and try it. Ugh.
Ah, can you taste the age of those tracks, Orlando?
No, it's quite bad. Don't know how you do it.
So you head up this direction. You can kind of see it's heading this direction. As you get close to here, kind of none of you noticed actually that same figure that was leaning against the building near the shop where you were at is now leaning against the corner of the building. And as you kind of come within range, you're only about 20 feet away. You hear him kind of half whisper, half say, "I hear you're interested in a kobold."
Hi, where did you hear that from, my friend?
You're in a small town. Word travels fast when people are looking for unique items.
Well, this seems like it may be my lucky day. I may be interested in a kobold, but this is very specific. I need a young, very healthy kobold. I could pay top dollar for such a thing. Do you have any idea where such a unique creature could be found in this town?
Let's go. Let's go have a conversation. This isn't the place. And he starts walking. Kind of heads up this direction. You guys follow?
Before we do anything, did those tracks lead to him?
No, they followed. They were heading along the shore, kind of up in this direction is where they were heading.
And the tracks went in a different direction. Where could you ping where the guy's at?
The guy he was standing right in the corner of this building as you guys walked past, and now he's kind of heading up this direction. I guess I could just drop a token on there for you, hon, instead of make it easier for you.
Unless he's incorporeal.
He is not.
I grab Strider. I'm like, I tell him in his ear. I'm like, I think there's there might be more to this, and it shouldn't be that. It could be a trap. Be worried.
Orlando, I have the same fear. We're whispering away from this guy. I explained to him. One moment. Now I need to make sure that my cobalt identifier is with me to make sure that the material is good. And I tell the guy just one moment while I discuss this with my partners and step aside so he can't hear us.
All right, I'm gonna start talking. I'm gonna start talking in message now. Magic as in the message spell. I'm gonna basically ask you, okay, what, I need full details. I'm sure you give them to me.
About what? Yeah, about what
you're buying and stuff. I don't know if you explained that exactly, but
I would just explain that I set up the local merchant to find us if anyone knows where a young kobold in good health is that could be used for his skin, and I like a calm of Undo down, just to help us in our search to find young Hashish.
His name's Heish, not Hashish.
It's good.
Well, seeing that it seems that you are good at tracking, I think perhaps we should just follow the tracks and tell him we'll meet him later.
I was thinking the same thing, but I don't know if he'll be so willing. I am fearful of where he may lead us at this moment. Owen, what are your thoughts on our strangely helpful friend here? Like, and I kind of nudge back towards the guy.
I don't know how much to trust most people in this town, but if it is a trap, it will at least take us where we need to be.
Orlando, can your cat pops see like your bat could?
No, doesn't see quite the same. It smells better.
You can't see, and you see through his eyes.
Well, yes, I can do the same thing, yes.
I explained to Alunda.
Are we going to go, or should I move on to another buyer for?
I quick look in my mind. We're messaging in our minds, right, Alunda? I messaged back to Alundo my thought of, why don't the cat and our sturdy friend here, Owen, follow him as our identifier as for hashish, and if there's any trouble, we'll be right here around the corner.
I perhaps think I should go with Owen because, well, if it's a trap, he may need more help. And you're the tracker. I can send the cat with you.
So Owen, Alundo, you can be our kobold
Yes,
quality identifier.
that's fine.
And then I just kind of turn around and I explain to the gentleman, this is my fine identifier of kobold scales. He will be able to verify the merchandise for me. If all is well, he's going to give me the signal and I will come with the agreed upon funds.
And whatever you like, but just come with me if you'd like to discuss it further.
Okay. I kind of just, can I reply back to you in my mind still, Orlando?
Yes.
So I would just say back to you again, like, let me know if there's any trouble. I'll be right around the corner.
Yes, I will. If you see the cat disappear before your eyes, it means we're in trouble.
So, and I take really good note of this guy's like feet tracks right now where he's standing. So, like, I'm planning that I'm going to need to see where he goes to as well.
Yep.
And then, I'll start following my tracks and let them go. So.
Okay. This is. Are we ready then?
Yes. Lead the way. I'm
All right.
only looking for the youngest specimens.
Kind of gives you an odd look. And this way.
Not only do the scales make good armor, they also make good spell components.
He starts heading this direction, heads up this way, cuts in between these buildings.
Oh, this is
How close are you behind? How close are you behind him, by the way?
Owen, where are you at?
I would be wherever you want me to be.
I probably wouldn't walk in between these buildings because it's like out of the way of people.
But with Owen with you, would you? I don't know.
I kind of stop. I'm like,
is it really back here?
So where did I leave them at? Which corner could you show me first, just so I know where I'm at?
Yeah, you were right down here.
And so honestly, knowing that I'm thinking this is a trap, I'm probably stealthing up behind them because I know I'm not going to lose my trail.
Yep.
So I'm going to just say for now that like here, just so I have an eye, but I'm still, I want to stealth. If you actually want me to roll stealth, I can, because I'm going to stay back.
Yeah, you want to roll stealth then. Roll at the tower.
I want to keep an eye on them right now.
Roll a tower for me too.
Yep.
A tower of power.
And I
tower.
Check my modifier and type it in, right? That's all. The first time I remembered that. Took like 7 weeks.
I have a memory. It works.
Okay.
Jesus.
You are following behind.
Actually, I don't even. Oh, that's right. I don't see it. That's survival.
Can you see it? You can't see it, can you?
No, I can't. I just seen a green 25. I was like, Jesus. But then I realized that it was survival.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. So you're following behind.
And by the way, if I saw him dip down the little passageway, I'd probably go around, the opposite way of the building.
Okay. Okay. Yep. He just the guy just says it's just a little further. It's right here.
So, do you want me in back or in front, Alondo?
Orlando, don't walk back in there? This seems odd. Excuse me, I don't really do business behind the buildings, per se. It's a good place to get robbed, kind sir. I'm talking to the guy in front.
He stops and looks. He says, "It's this building right here." He points at the center building right here. "We're just going to enter right here." He kind of goes in, and you see him. He turns the corner, and you guys lose sight of him.
Well, okay. Let's go to the front, shall we? Okay. I'm gonna go up over here, and then go to the front. Is there like a front door or something?
When you look down, you're seeing at the front there. That's kind of, there's just windows there,
Mm-hmm.
and if you look in between there, you actually do see that there's a door that's actually left open. Looks like it's that way. So it's it kind of swings out into the alleyway there, and it's a regular sized door in the front there. Along the front, there's some windows, and then it looks like there's a larger kind of like a carriage almost entrance size opening there, door.
Okay, I look through the cat's eyes and I see,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Strider is skulking around. What do you know?
Yeah.
Because my instructions for the cat were to follow.
Strider. Okay.
And I can actually talk to the cat now because he's within range. I think, right? That's 100 feet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's each one of those squares is 25 feet. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. I am going to message Strider. I'm going to say, well, we're going into some suspicious looking place. It's a middle building. Since you seem to be following us, which is a good idea, I'm a little nervous about this, but damn it, they've got Ish. I'll see you later. And I walk in.
And I replied, like, in my mind, say,
Right behind you, sir.
yeah, say, don't worry, I got my eyes on you. And that's all.
Okay. You guys walk in. Looks like it's a house. Obviously, it's a little larger than kind of your typical house. It's in pretty bad condition though. The front half of it does appear to be some sort of a like a storage area for a carriage that would be in there. So almost like a indoor kind of parking area for that. There's a couple stables for a few horses in there, and this back area looks to be kind of a converted makeshift kind of a lodging area. I won't call it a house because it's in pretty bad disrepair. You can see that there's a barrel in the center that looks like it's used for burning. There's a few bedrolls that are laid around, and some kind of, I wouldn't say squalor, but definitely not nice. So you can tell that this has been kind of a makeshift area for that somebody's taken up in. And
I have a question too, because I'd be like peeking in that back window, staying stealth now, and I'd want to like roll perception to see if I think there's anybody else around here, lurking around, or like anybody else that could be like backup for this guy.
Yep.
Would that be in the tower or?
Yeah, but which window are you looking at? On the main street where you're kind of standing? Is that where you're looking?
So I just wasn't clear on the doors before that's why I didn't say that. So on my side where I'm on, is it just a window and no door?
There's a big kind of carriage-sized door with no windows in it, solid wood that's there. You can see that that's in place, and then kind of above that, there's kind of like a transom window along the top that's letting in light into that area. But
Mondo and Owen go in the big door here, or they go in the other door?
no, they went down the side, the alleyway to the side door, which is open.
Okay, yeah. So I would be peering in this window, thinking I'm looking from the back of the building. So the first thing I'd want to know is what I see in that window. If I just see them, or I don't know if I'm seeing something different in this building from my angle.
Okay. Yep. So you can just, even with your height, you can reach up and you can grab the transom window and just enough to pull yourself up and look in the window. That's how high it is off the ground. And you happen to look in and you do see that there looks like there's, the windows are pretty dirty, so it's tough to see, but you definitely see some carriages that look like they're in disrepair that are in there. There's one with a broken axle. You can see one that looks like it's pretty well deteriorated. Although there's some parts in there, there's some wagon wheels hanging in that. It looks like the building's kind of been divided in half. It's kind of what it looks like. So you're seeing kind of looks like a workshop or kind of an area where they may store carriages or work on carriages or something in that area.
And I don't see them at all. I just see a wall on the back.
You
Right?
don't see them, yeah.
Okay, so should I roll that perception in the window to see if I feel like there's any people around?
Yep. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, you don't see anybody in this front section of that
But
building.
like, also, I mean, like these kind of like around here, the street. I'm also like looking like if there's any people lurking that look like
Okay.
around.
Yeah, so you kind of lower yourself back down, take a good look around the area, and you don't see anybody that looks like they're suspicious. You got a few people that are kind of working. You can hear the farrier working across the street. You can see down the road there that there's a few people in the training ground that are going through motions, but you don't see anything.
And
Like it's,
does that room look totally like unoccupied, right?
it doesn't look like anybody.
Yeah, is this a door? I would try the door very, very slowly to see if it's unlocked.
Okay. Yep. You try and pull the doors, and they are locked. Looks like they're chained from the inside, is what you're guessing.
And does this building to me look big enough that they would hear if I broke this window? Like, is it? Would I think that they're going to hear that if I broke this window?
You can roll an intelligence check.
Intelligence, okay.
You don't think so. You
Okay.
think there's probably enough room there that they probably wouldn't hear it.
And so I pull myself up, first look to make sure that nobody is actually looking at me and no one's actually in earshot that's going to hear this outside as well. As long as it
Okay.
looks clear, I would then
Okay.
try to break it, enter, and hide under one of those wheelbarrows.
Okay. Yeah, you pull yourself up. You take a good look around the street and smash the window. Kind of clear out the entire frame because there's the transom window there has got some sections in it. So you break one of the sections, pull yourself up pretty easily, and pull yourself inside.
And then I
Right.
would just try to hide under the wheelbarrow and listen.
You drop to the floor. You can roll another stealth roll if you want to see if you
Okay.
how well you hide.
In the tower, I mean?
Yeah, please.
Tower power.
Okay.
Do,
So
do I
you find what's that?
do I feel like this is a good hiding spot?
Feel like you're pretty well hidden. Yep. So you find yourself a good spot tucked under one of the broken wagons that you can kind of see what's going on.
Cool.
And you're in there. Cool. So Alundo and Owen, you guys walk in, and the guy you were following is only maybe 2 or 3 feet in front of you.
Can I do a perception?
Got one hand on the door, holding it open.
Can I do a perception check for this whole area using any knowledge I have of having been in shady towns and situations before? If I can get a sense by what is around here, like if this seems like a good place to use for an ambush, like are there places that people would hide? Anything that seems like strangely out of the ordinary to give somebody cover?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. You don't think so.
Yeah.
You don't think there's anything odd here. You know, it looks like from your background, it looks like this is someplace somebody's squatting. Looks like they've come in, they're kind of set up some basic stuff. They've got a few possessions here and there, but it doesn't look. It looks like it's pretty hastily kind of set up and not anything that's going to be permanent. It's kind of the impression you get.
Gotcha.
But you walk in, and he's holding the door for you, and he says, "Right this way." You notice this wall on the other side of this room where they've got the stuff set up is one other door, kind of set up over there. And he kind of, once you guys walk in, he just lets the door shut, kind of thing, and just walks around looks like the burn barrel in the center, and heads for that door. Very casually walking.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna look for anyone hidden behind doors or anything like that.
Okay.
Behind anything. What else is in here?
Is there any object?
There's a few bedrolls. There's some broken crates in a few spots. Looks like this might have been a storage area at some point, but now it's kind of being used as a kind of a sleeping area. It looks like more than anything else. So there's, like I said, some bedrolls and a burn barrel in the center and a few other things that way. So.
And do I feel like that they're walking towards the wall right next to me, like the wall in front of me? I assume I hear them maybe in the other room. Do I feel like they're coming at?
We'll say you can hear some movement. Sure, you don't know who or what or anything else, but you definitely hear some movement.
And is the door I see a door? I assume.
You do not.
I just see a wall like this is not even connected at all.
Yep.
Okay, and do I see any entrances, either like a cellar or attic upstairs? Is there any other level?
If you look up, you do see a hatch in the ceiling up there that looks like it may be access to, an attic area or something like that that's up there. You do see it's covered over. It's got some planking that's over the top of it, but it does look to be as if something maybe has a lift or something that's in there. As far as there's a pulley system and there's a rope that's hanging between the two planks that are hanging there. So.
Okay. So the first thing I would do is look to see if I saw any cracks in the planks in that wall before the ceiling that I might be able to see. That I might be able to see through.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I said, not in great disrepair. You can definitely see a little bit of light coming through in a few spots, so you could definitely kind of get down eye level and look through probably one of those.
Okay, and as long as the room still seemed very empty to me, I would be comfortable doing that. So I'd walk over and peek through the crack. See what?
Okay, are you trying to do it quietly, same silent move like you were before?
Still stealth, and only if I felt like there was nothing else like of danger in this room.
Okay. Yep, you kind of you kind of sneak up to the wall and get down real close. One of the boards that you can kind of see is real close to the ground, so you got to kind of hunch down real close and kind of get close, look through that crack, and you do see looks like the flicker of a lantern sitting on the table, and there is a gentleman sitting at the table in this room. There's a table with a couple chairs. He's sitting in one of the chairs, and looks like there's also some other storage items that are in here. You also get kind of the hint of some movement out of the corner of your eye. From the angle that you're looking at the board, you can't really make out what it is, but it looks like something along the far side where you're looking. There's also some more movement in the corner over there, but there's definitely a gentleman sitting in the chair at the table that kind of fits the description of the gentleman that Owen was describing, that Matilda told about.
A fat thug. I see a fat thug in the chair. So right after I saw that, and I don't know if these guys are doing anything else at the same time, but after I saw that, I would then go to check that door, and I would actually see if it looked like I could open it quietly. I would be very cautious of making any noise because I know that they're in the next room, and I would really just kind of first check it, visually, see if I saw anything that looked weird or to worry about, and I would want to see if I felt like I could open it very quietly.
Well, to reach the ceiling here, to be able to push up on the boards enough, you'll actually have to scale the rope a little bit to do that. So would you like to do that? Or
it's a rope hanging down from this door?
So you've got a hatch in the ceiling with some planks laying on top of the hatch, and there's a rope that runs in between the couple planks that are hanging down there. So in order for you to be able to get up, to be able to move some of the planks, you'd have to scale that rope from here to be able to do that. It's not very far. It's only probably 12 feet up. You can probably, you can reach about 8 feet or a little more. So it's only if you have to climb just a little bit on the rope. But
I would, but I'd go over very cautiously. I'd start with a very light, like feeling the rope to make sure it looks sturdy. It doesn't look like there's going to be any chance of me making sound. Like I'm going to think like, is this rope going to hold me? Am I going to pull it down? I don't know if I can rope that. I want to make sure. I'm really confident that I'm not going to make any noise back here right now.
Okay. Why don't you roll a let's see. How would you know if that rope's going to do anything or make any noise?
Maybe investigation.
There you go. That's good. Yeah.
Let me just give you just 1 second before I go to the rope.
Yep.
Did I see anything, since I did think this was the guy we're looking for? Did I see containers or anything in that room that may have looked like hashish Was it
You
held
didn't
in
see
there?
anything kind of from your field of view that looked like it was a corpse or a whatever, but you did, like I said, on the kind of in the corner there, you did see some movement that you really couldn't determine what it was. It's just out of your peripheral vision.
And
It
did
just
I
angle?
did I think I don't know, I'll say this is all before I go to the rope. Do I
Yeah.
feel like that there's other cracks that I would have other points of views that I would want to look through?
You didn't see anything really readily apparent there. Everything else, there's a little bit of light coming through in a few spots, but they're too far off the ground for you to be able to see easily without having to drag something over or move something. So you could do that if you like, but
Wait, there's light off the ground. I'd have to do what?
there's another spot in the wall that's kind of higher up on the wall that you couldn't just stand and see. You'd have to pull something over and stand on it to be able to see through it if you wanted to.
I would probably think that would make too much noise behind this wall, so I would very quietly try the rope then to see if I thought I could go up it. So you said investigation
Yeah, roll investigation.
in the tower?
Yeah. Okay. From kind of looking around, and you kind of grab the rope and take a look, and you kind of get just the right angle to look up through the boards. You notice that there's a pulley up top there, above it, and from where you're at and kind of the angle that you have, it looks pretty rusty. So you're kind of you're thinking maybe if you put your weight on this, you may get the entire rope. It may squeak. You're not really confident that it's going to be quiet if you decide to use this as a ladder.
And it looks like the type of planked or like door that I would push up and move over. Is that what it looks like?
It looks like just individual planks laid up there, actually. It doesn't look like it's actually a door by any means. They're just kind of laid across that opening.
And it's about 4 feet above my head?
Because 12-foot ceilings, you can probably, with your height, you can probably reach almost 9 foot. So it's probably a little less.
Anything very sturdy around that I might be able to step on?
There are definitely some crates and some components, wagon components here that you look like they're in pretty good shape.
I would just look for something that looked like it was in good shape that I didn't feel a fear of falling through then, since I would kind of deem that rope useless. And then I would I would move it over as quietly as possible. It's taking my time. Again, I don't know if something else is going on in the other room yet, but taking my time.
Yep.
And I would try to grab the planks and just slowly pull. I'd actually just pull them down, thinking that was the quietest way to get up there.
We'll just use your stealth roll from before. So you move some crates over, you kind of get them stacked up pretty well, and then climb up to kind of do that. Let's just roll an athletics check to make sure that you don't come
still
down. You can just roll that one. You'll know whether you fall.
Acrobatics or athletics?
Would be whatever is better for you. I don't care.
Okay, then that's why I asked too. All right.
Okay. You climb up there, and it does do some creaking as you kind of get up on the boxes until you level out your weight. You kind of have to distribute it properly. It makes a little bit of noise, but you're able to get up there and move the boards pretty quietly to the sides. And now you have enough to be able to grab the lip of the opening, and you can pull yourself up if you like.
Yep, and I would feel it as long as it felt sturdy, like it felt like, and it looked like a good enough level that I would pull it up and just very slowly stay in like quiet as possible. I would just kind of shimmy myself to about the distance where I thought I'd be above the room. And first, I'd want to see what I see, if there is enough light from the opening. I'd want to know what I could see up here.
Okay. Yep. So you pull yourself up pretty easily, and you definitely see it's really dark up here. There's really not enough headroom for you to be able to stand up here. It's probably about 3 foot of clearance. There's definitely enough room for you to crawl here, but it's not really floored up here. So there's your regular roof rafters that are running across there. You'll have to kind of scale across the top of those roof rafters in order to not go through, because underneath it you can see that there's some wood plank there. So do you try and stay on top of the rafters, or do you just walk or crawl wherever?
I'm thinking in my mind, I'm wondering to myself if I can communicate with Alondo. And I don't know the answer. Honestly, I really don't know how that works. So I'm thinking if I can or not.
The
cat
would have went with you.
Well, that's part of what I'm stopping and thinking. Like, I'm thinking in my mind, Alondo, can you hear me? And I don't know if he answers. Does he not answer?
No, I don't answer. I would know you're there. I mean,
Okay.
unless I look through the cat's eyes at some point. So,
Yep.
and I would only do it if I had reason to.
So, and the cat would be like not responsive to me at all. Would he be responsive to the person he's following at all? I don't. If I, because I'm probably gonna.
All I told you is that he'll disappear if we're in trouble, and then the rest
So,
you'll find out. You
I'm
probably
gonna.
should.
Yeah,
You probably should have. You probably should have us play, because, I mean, I've been already checking through his eyes, which I was gonna do anyways. So I might, but like I'm not gonna be doing it every second, obviously.
Yeah. That's fine.
When I get
Yeah,
a
we'll
chance,
say
I'll
we
do
just
it.
pulled up with Lane on top.
Yeah, because if you're waiting to see what I would do, maybe he's seen you go back there, and then I would probably message you knowing that you're in the house. But I don't know right now, so.
Right. So yeah, we'll say you got yourself pulled up and kind of laying on the top of the rafters right this second.
Well, yeah, but the last thing that I would do before, like, if it was all one action, is I would see if I saw a little crack of light to look out, that what I felt like would be down into that room. Just
Oh
so
yeah,
I,
there's plenty. The ceiling, the planks that are on the bottom of the rafters here are not put together all that well. So
that
they're
was
just
the last thing that I would probably do is just try to look down to see if I had what I had a view of, and then stop there.
Yep, there's plenty of gaps there.
And what do I see? Just the same? Do I see anything else in that room?
You do, and we'll come back to that in just a second.
Okay.
So Owen and Elundo, the guy you were following, just kind of casually strolls across the room, and he says, "It's right in here, and we'll talk."
Alright. I hope this is fast.
It's all up to you, he says. He walks over and knocks on the door once, and
I take
hear
note of how many
somebody's-
times he knocks.
he just listens twice. You hear him
Okay.
twice, and he just says, "You hear somebody on the other side say, 'Come if you're coming.'" And he opens the door and walks in, and you guys follow after him, or what do you do?
Yes.
Now I'd take a quick. Since he went forward and no one can really see me now, I would look through my cat's eyes just real quick.
Okay. You see the cat is sitting on a roof rafter next to Strider. It looks like in some sort of an attic space. That's what it looks like. And it's pretty dark, not for the cat, obviously, but you see light coming up from below, which appears to be some room or something.
Okay, I start coughing, have a hissy fit, and then as I do that, I'm going to cast message. I don't know if you want me to roll Arcana check to try to hide it, or I don't really care if these guys know I did it, because I mean, if they're not up to know, if they're, I mean, if we're just
You know what? It doesn't
I don't
matter.
care.
It doesn't matter. Go ahead. No, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
All right. I'm probably not really hiding it. Actually, I don't care.
All right.
Let them know. Anyways, I cast a message. I'm like,
Mhm.
Are you in the house?
And
What
I
do
would
you see? You can only
Armando.
answer in a sentence. So,
I would say we're right above you.
and I asked you, what do you see?
And I would tell him what I saw because I don't know yet.
Yep. So you definitely see the fat thug sitting at a table. Pretty sparse room, other than it's got definitely has some trade goods in here. You can tell that there's some boxes of some things that are broken open. Looks like some merchant gear. Looks like a sampling of almost everything that you guys have seen in town. From all the vendors are kind of piled up in the corners here. And you do see a makeshift cage with Heish in the corner, kind of tucked down in there. He looks to be kind of cowering in the corner, making himself as small as possible.
Sorry, go ahead. I want you to finish. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. And it's pretty indistinct. There's no windows in this room. You don't see anything else. It just kind of looks like this may have been kind of an additional storeroom or something that was in this building at some point. And there's a lantern sitting on the table in front of the large fat thug, who you assume is Rickles, and he's kind of just sitting at the door.
Am I like directly above him?
Yeah, you're pretty close. You're definitely on the other side of the wall where you just kind of climbed up. You can see that's there, and
These
you know,
boards are like in disarray. Like they're a pretty weak kind of attic boards, real loose. Or no, between the rafters, what is there? Is there a ceiling?
Yeah, so between the rafters, there's wooden plank that's there that have some pretty good gaps in between, which is why you can see. But yeah, if you were in the room looking up from above, it would just kind of look like wood plank that was nailed up to the ceiling.
With the feeling that I could easily break through that, I would draw my weapon and drop right down on that fat guy and stab him right in the back while he didn't know I was there. So I was coming.
Oh man!
I see myself right above him. I would pull the weapon, draw it right out, and then try to break right, like just jump down right on top of him on his back, weapons out.
Definitely adventure.
Okay.
I did have a really good plan, but that's the way it goes.
And that's gone. Yes, exactly.
I was gonna walk in as a regent and tell him I was undercover. That's what I was gonna do, but it's gone.
Once I saw Hashish, like I would totally not care anymore, and I would see this guy, like I'd see my opportunity. Definitely, this guy was not at all knowing I was there, not at all paying attention, and that's exactly how it got to do.
I like this guy.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
How much do you weigh, Strider? Let's see.
I think it was 220. Let me check.
180, according to your sheet.
180.
And then his armor is probably 220. What kind of armor do you have?
I was gonna say you've got what on?
I have the leather studded now because I just upgraded recently.
Okay.
Yeah. Good choice.
Let's see.
Well, good thing we got two fighters.
And obviously, like my plan is like looking between those beams. I see that that's like a thin plank board that I feel like I would just break through. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what my thought was.
We shall see. Yeah, we'll say it's another 20 pounds for that. So I'll say it's 200 pounds plus you're gonna drop onto it. How much would that hold up? Let me think.
Well, and obviously I'd be like jumping, like
Yeah, no, I know you're gonna throw all your weight into it too. So.
Yeah, that'd be funny if you can't get through.
That's what I'm just gonna say.
I mean, from the description, that didn't even cross my mind. I thought it would just be like I would just fly through the ceiling when I jumped.
Well, and that's why you're doing it, so it makes sense. But this is wood plank. It's not like it's drywall. They didn't have drywall back then, so. Let's say how we're gonna do that. Should we just assign total damage for that, and then he has to do for jumping, or
so you do a difficulty. So whatever you think the difficulty is, and then he'd roll like an athletics check.
Yeah.
Okay. It'd probably be strength.
We'll say it's not horribly difficult, but it's it's a little more than normal. So we'll say it's a 15. So go ahead and roll your athletics. How's that?
Athletics, right? Not can't be acrobatics this time, right?
I don't care. That's fine.
And does that go in the tower or not?
No. I already told you what the difficulty is. So you got to beat a 15.
Like do some kind of
you kind of get your feet underneath you even though you're in a super tight space and kind of get as much clearance as you can and then just kind of jump through and boom come breaking through the ceiling
right with my rapier into his back.
We'll say this is the surprise round, so you guys get to take action, obviously.
We don't because we're surprised.
Yeah.
Not you guys. No. We'll say he does. Yeah.
Only he does.
So yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll. We'll even say you can make attack roll with advantage because he's.
Well, and by the way, just depending, I can only say that one sentence back to you because obviously, as I saw Hashish, I would be like, "I'm going in." I don't know if I could say that, but that's what I would have said.
You didn't say it first, so I don't know. It's up to the DM.
Okay, I don't know how that works. If it's like just one line, I don't know how that part works.
Too
late.
It can be a drawn.
Too late.
Sentence. Yeah, too late.
Yeah, we'll say that you thought it, but you were so caught up in the moment you forgot to mention it to Lundo.
No problem.
So you just.
What am I rolling?
You can roll a regular attack roll. Let me find him. Hold on. Yeah, we don't really need a map for this, just so you know, so it's fine. I'm just going to drag somebody out here onto the map so that we have them. Yep, go ahead. Just roll an attack roll, and I'll tell you whether you get or not. That is a hit. You rolled with that. Yeah, that's cool. And go ahead and roll your damage. That's not your damage.
Oh, do I click on the damage next to the rapier or no? What do I do again?
A little rapier name in the chat. Remember?
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. 10 points of damage. Ooh.
Ouch.
You drive your rapier right down through his shoulder. Ah, he's screaming.
Hello.
It's
I hope he's not 10th
literally
level.
buried to the hilt. Your rapier is now buried to the hilt through his shoulder, sticking out, stuck in the chair. He can't even move. He's screaming at this point.
That's perfect.
That is-
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And
Good start.
these are great negotiating tactics.
Yep. So
Yeah,
now we can roll initiative.
well, so wait, I'm still like a regular turn, or no? I can, like my offhand attack if I want to now.
Yeah, it's a whole
Ye-
round.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
For
You
your
may not even
surprise
have.
attack. It's basically like round zero of combat, so you can
Right.
do your full attack.
That unfortunately you do not. So you didn't expect your rapier to stick and not being able to be pulled off. So it kind of pulls you off balance as you topple forward. You take a make swish swing with your short sword and you just miss him.
If you got
Just-
inspiration, you can use it, right? I don't know. I
You
think
could.
you do, don't you?
He does. Yeah, I just gave it to him.
Yeah, I'd use it.
You want to do it? Okay, go to roll again.
You might miss, but you never know. Nice.
And you catch him with the short sword. You swing around. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Cool.
Oh my god! And yeah, tell me how he
Holy
dies.
shit! Wait a minute.
God.
So if that's his offhand, I unless he's got two
Oh, he
weapon
doesn't get
fighting,
that. Oh, he's got dual. He's got dual weapon. He's got.
Does he get
Yeah.
some off weapon damage?
Yes,
Offhand
he
damage?
does. Yeah.
He does.
It
Okay.
says you master a two-wielding weapon, gain the following benefits: bonus to AC when you're wielding separate melee. You can use two-handed weapon fighting even with one. I can use two-weapon fighting even when the one-handed melee weapons you're wielding aren't light. You can draw
Right.
two weapons.
You can do same size, but you get your bonus. You get your.
I don't think you get your you don't
No,
get your
but-
damage bonus, so it'd be like minus the damage
No.
bonus. But
Still gonna be 4. That's fine. He still dies.
holy shit! You
So
got
tell me
both
how
of
you
them.
kill him. You can tell me how you kill him.
So he was pinned down with the
Holy
rapier in the
shit.
one. I would actually just slice through his other shoulder, trying to incapacitate him, but actually just getting a little too close to his to the center and just kind of cutting him in half.
We're gonna be
Okay.
criminals now.
And then
He screams in pain as the carotid artery starts spurting all over the place as he and he goes down.
and then I would for my movement, I would actually just try to like lean against the wall next to the door that I expect the other people to be coming through right now, and like kind of to try to get the jump on that guy.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just say we'll say that kind of falling through there kind of pretty much takes up your movement with the distance you had to fall and what you had to do. So we'll say it's enough that you can kind of pull yourself back up and prepare yourself for kind of the next attack. But yeah, you come flying through just as you guys see as the door opens. All of a sudden, the ceiling explodes, and Strider comes flying down with a rapier, drives it directly through the shoulder of the large fat thug, who screams, and then he finishes him off with the short sword to what he was trying for the shoulder and hits him in the neck, and it spurts blood all over the place. And the the thug you guys were following in, you can tell, is just shocked and says, "What is going on here?"
So much for talking to him.
Indeed.
You just killed Rickles!
We can help that. Let me see here. What do I have?
I would like to punch that guy in the face and lay him.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like.
Roll initiative.
If he didn't do it, I was doing something right there. Then if we weren't infighting already.
You guys are probably going to beat him, but go ahead. You guys can roll your initiative.
I am going to did I roll? You
Oh.
gotta make sure you're selected on your token,
Very
by
nice.
the way.
Oh,
Still counts. We'll give it to you. Go ahead. Just
Yeah,
roll.
you can
Click it
just
yourself and
roll
roll
it.
it. I'll give you the 20.
What do you do? You just actually click your token before you click the initiative?
Yeah, otherwise
Get a
I'll go
highlight
into the
token,
initiative
yeah.
thing.
my token isn't even on there.
Did I do it right? If you could tell me.
We can drag it on there.
There we go.
You did. Yeah.
All right.
You can always change it late. Like if you miss it, you just click your token roll again and then just change it.
All right, where was yours? You were 21, right? Isn't that what you had?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys all beat him, so I can't imagine this is going to be a problem. But
Okay.
oh, and you are first.
I'll actually use my belaying pin.
Okay.
It's the only bludgeoning weapon I have, but I'm aiming to knock him out rather than kill him.
Okay. You definitely hit him.
That's
Oh.
correct.
Oh. I was gonna say,
There we go.
okay. You give him you give him a wallop upside the head, and you can see his head. He's totally off guard. Wah! He turns the head to the side. Oh, doesn't go down, but he's definitely not happy about that.
That's all I'll do this round. I'm not going to waste my action surge to do him twice.
Okay. Strider, you're up.
And I just want to recap one thing. He walked in the room and he said, "Whoa, what's going on here?" What did he say when he saw the body? Like, how did he react? Did he actually like start fighting?
No, he was shocked. He kind of threw his hands up and said, "What's going on? You just killed Rickles."
So I mean, my first reaction, well, before I even do any like attack, I would actually say, like just come right up to him and say like, "Yeah, I killed Rickles. What do you got to say about that? He stole our friend."
He's still reeling from being belted with a
Kobold.
belaying pin. He's not really talking. He's
I kind of like grab his hair, pull him back, pull his hair back, and talk to him. "This is our kobold you're trying to sell us."
Yeah, it's a kobold. You said you wanted a kobold. We got a kobold.
Alondo.
Wait.
Alondo.
Let's not get this out of hand. I think he's fine. We must save this man, or else we could be charged with murder.
I
I know he's not a good guy, and God, he smells. But you know what?
Alondo, I think you should check on Hashish. Make sure he's okay.
Is he living?
I'm pretty sure his name is Hashishan.
Hashishan.
It's Ish. Ish, are you okay? I talk in Draconian.
He's powering. He does from this distance. You're not that far away. You can tell he is shaking. He's literally kind of curled into a ball, and he's got his head over his top of his hands over top of his head, and he is shaking, but he's not responding.
We'll be right there, Ish. And
I'm
gonna go on top of the fat man, and I'm gonna stop his blood.
Okay.
So what am I initiative?
Or
Okay,
try.
never mind. You tell me whatever.
Oh yeah,
you do.
no, it's your initiative.
No.
You go.
It's your initiative. Yep. So go ahead.
But you're trying to save the dead fat man? I'm
Yeah.
just okay.
So you got a hold of him by his hair. You got him ripped his head back, and he's basically just
I would
spouting whatever he can at this point. It's just a kobold. You said you needed a kobold. Why didn't you kill
I
Rickles?
would tie
What's
him
going
up.
on?
I would try to tie him up if he was already incapacitated. If not, I'd grapple him, then try to tie him up.
All right, you want to try and grapple him then? Okay, just to try and resist.
Yeah, like whatever I got to do for that.
It's going to be just an athletics versus his athletics, so it's just a D20 for him. So. All you have to beat is a 12, which you easily do. So you have him by the hair, and you just basically grab a hold of him around his neck with the other arm, and you have control of him at this point. So.
And once he's tied up, I would stop the cat that's licking up the bloody back. I would pick up the cat and start patting him because he's like licking up the blood. We're like, "No, kitty, no."
All right. So you want to bind him?
Oh yeah, after I tied him up, I would do that. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna gag him too, I'm assuming, or
I wouldn't gag him because I mean, unless he was yelling. If he was yelling, then obviously I would shut him up instantly.
incoherently yelling anything that he can. I don't understand. If you want the kobold that bad, we didn't have to kill us. We would have just given it to you. Nobody.
I would instantly try to gag him for sure.
So you gag him. He's still kind of mumbling through the gag. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're petting the cat. Elindo, you're
Yeah, I'm petting the cat. I don't go to Lindo.
Well, unless you plan to kill that man there, who seems somewhat innocent, we have to save him. I don't want
Innocent?
to charge.
These men aren't innocent. They captured Ish.
It is not up to us to delegate the law, and no, I'm gonna go save him, or try to.
Okay.
I'm gonna use medicine to stabilize him. I'm not very good at
Okay.
it, and I have no things for medicine. I have a book here that has nothing
Sweet.
to do with medicine. So
You are talking about the guy that got bludgeoned, right? Just so I understand too.
no, he's fine.
Brew.
It's the guy bleeding.
Oh, that guy's not dead. I don't know how that works. I thought he was just done.
So the only time he instantly dies is if you do in a single blow more than what his total is, and then
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Double is
Doing-
total.
right, he's doing death saving throws right now, so he's not dead, but he just looks like he's bleeding out for sure. So 13. I don't assign difficulties, it's to 10 or higher.
I
Right?
think it's I think it's 10 or higher for.
I can
But I'll
help
look it up
him.
just in case. So
I've seen my fair share of grisly wounds, so I'll give you an assist if you need advantage.
Cool. So you help him out, and you do stop his bleeding. You guys do. So he does not appear to be getting any better, but he is not bleeding out at this point. So I will tell you how long it is before he wakes up.
And I say to Orlando, I think we'd be doing this town a favor from
4
what
hours.
we heard if we had just left him here.
yes, we can do them a favor. We can make sure he doesn't come back. And I think that with that kind of wound, after I've gotten done cleaning it, I'm probably got some blood. You might think twice about fucking with people here.
Or we could turn him over to the magistrate for kidnapping and assault.
I think the magistrate is in on it. He seems to control many people in the town.
I
don't
I would not
trust
trust
him.
the magistrate at all.
No.
Is Ish
I have
going to be
an idea.
okay?
Why don't we put him in your ship's brig?
Aye, we could utilize the ship for that. Will
What?
will Ish be okay?
Yes, he seems okay. I'm gonna attend him in a second. I just wanted to make sure he was saved, and then we have to deal with him. That one there. Let
Should we
us
tie
look at
this guy
him.
up too?
I'm gonna look for keys or anything the fat guy has on him.
Okay.
No
Yes.
way. He'll be out for quite some time. We don't have to tie him up yet.
You search him. You don't find any keys on anything.
Okay.
Has the other guy calmed down at all yet, or is he still crazy?
Once he saw you guys actually start to heal and try and fix up Rickles, he does seem to calm down a little bit. He's kind of rocking now. He's not really talking at all, but you can tell he's wide-eyed and still pretty panicked, but he's not mumbling or trying to, not completely freaking out at this point.
So I'll head over to him and I'll take the gag off of him and I'll give him a light slap on the face to get his attention.
You can see his eyes come back a little bit, and he looks in your direction, terrified.
How did you come to have this kobold in your possession?
We were told to get him, and it's just a cobalt, so we didn't think anything of it. We thought it probably was the right thing to do for the town, anyways. But
So you took him from the shingled mare.
Yes, the inn. We were told to get him from there. We were told he was alone and that we were to get him.
I will slap him in the face to get his attention and say, who ordered you to do this?
It wasn't. Well, Rickles told me, and I went and got the cobalt. So
Who told Rick?
I don't know. I don't. Don't hit me again. I don't know.
Okay. Don't steal things out of people's rooms.
Or this is what will happen to you. And I point at.
That's quite harsh, but Ish, I'm here. Can I open the cage?
Yep. It's just got a standard lock on it. It's
Okay.
nothing. I mean, it's not even a padlock. It's just
Right.
literally.
Just an
Yep.
opening lock.
Yeah, exactly.
I opened
Oh.
the lock.
Yep, he is cowering in a corner. It doesn't seem to visibly even react to your words at all.
Ish. It's Orlando. Remember.
He's still cowering. Doesn't appear to be doing anything. You can try a persuasion check if you like.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try to comfort him on the other side of the cage, if I can reach him or something like that. Oh, they're there.
Through the cage? Are you going into the cage, or what do you want to do?
Through the cage. I don't want to like crower him. I'll just do it outside of the cage. Make sure
Okay.
it's okay first. So I don't know how big is the cage.
It's about twice his size, so you could force your way in there barely, but not
Yeah,
very easily.
that's just gonna be. I don't know. Well, I'll see what he does on the outside first. So what would that be, like a persuasion, I guess?
Yeah, persuasion. I'll even give you advantage because you have a relationship with him.
There. I'm not too good at this. I've never had kids, but we'll see. Oh, terrible.
He actually, as you approach, he actually pulls back a little bit more and gets moved to the other corner that's there, and you can hear him. He's almost it's half whimper, half hiss, under his breath.
All right. I talked to him in Draconian with message. So
Okay.
there. You'll be okay. We've come to protect you. You see, we've helped you. We've gotten rid of the bad man that's taking you and his friend.
You think he may be in shock from all the things you've read in the books with the telltale signs and how he's reacting. You've never seen it, but you've read quite a few things about shock, and that's what you believe he may be in. So he doesn't really appear to be reacting at all. So.
Well, I'll leave him there for now.
I'd then slap the guy that Owen's been slapping and say, "What did you do to him?"
Yes. What did you?
He's
do?
just cowering. Hey, we didn't do anything. Just put him in the cage. We're told to keep him.
When I see Orlando not getting through to him, can I go over there and use what I know about animal handling to try and calm him as if he were a wild animal?
We'll give you disadvantage on that because it doesn't directly apply, but it's a good idea.
That's fair.
You go up and say, "Nice kitty, nice kitty, nice."
So while they're
He's not a
He's
cat.
not up here.
What are you doing?
I'd start looking.
I'd try something. I don't know.
I'd start checking the bandaged guy's Rickles' body and for anything, not just keys, for any items that he has on him, and then I would also check his desk that he was sitting at. Check the drawers and look through it.
It's just a table, so it's not a desk. There is a lantern. Well, there was a lantern on it. Now it's laying on its side, kind of. The desk is kind of in disrepair. We've kind of knocked everything off of it. There really wasn't much there. There were a few sheets of parchment that were on the top of it. And you do, as you kind of look through everything, he has nothing on him of value. I shouldn't say that. He has a very poorly made dagger, and he has some very poorly made leather, just like the other guy you guys have tied up. And he smells worse than anything you've ever smelled. Just touching him, you now have this stench that's stuck to your hands. You can't even. Just bringing your hands up near your face is enough to turn your stomach. It's that bad. You can tell he hasn't bathed in who knows how long. But he does have a dagger, and doesn't really have much of anything else on him. In the room here, there are some goods. Like we kind of said it before, it looks like a sampling of everything all the way along here from the vendor. So there's some gray and some brown meat. There's some rope. There's some other trade goods. There's some of the shiny weapons are in here that you can tell are worth absolutely nothing. You can also see that there's some various equipment in here that maybe for the boat might be good. I've got some other stuff here, but looks like it's a little bit what you'd assume is probably payment from the vendors for protection.
I would try to read the parchment if I could see what's on them.
Yeah, actually, you do find one piece of parchment that's kind of has drifted off the table and is now laying on the floor, and it looks like Let me find it. Hold on one second. It looks like this.
Boom, 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 boom. Ooh. All pets achieve no goods. Impede progress under penalty of death.
And I'll try to remember what I remember about that symbol when I saw it earlier.
Yeah, it's all over the place. You guys see it all the time. So it's the symbol of Mirren. That is actually flying at the manor house that's over there. You know that, and it's the symbol of Mirren in general.
All right, this is what we need to do. We need to cover up his body. We need to make a stretcher, and we need to take it out to the boat. These two men need questioning. This one cannot go anywhere. We need to take him back. They all are controlled by this regent and his man.
I think we really need to make sure they're well concealed. Maybe we can. I saw 2 wagons in the other room. Possibly one of them could be used to transport these bodies and these supplies. Maybe I can. I can go check and see if I think we can use one of the wagons.
Are they hand carts or are they like?
I was just looking for cover. I really didn't get to examine them at the time. They're right on the other side here, and since they're all tied up. Actually, before I go, I would close the front door if it's still open.
Oh yes, I do it.
Yeah, and then I'd go
a gust of wind with prejudice.
I crawl back on the attic and go take a look at those carts to see exactly what they were and if I thought they could be usable condition to transport 2 bodies and the minimal supplies in the room.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of pull over some of the goods that are in here to make enough of a ladder to be able to climb yourself back up through the hole you created in the ceiling here. Scoot across and look in there, and they're basically carriages in here, but they look like they're in pretty bad disarray. What would it be? I don't know what skill that would be to check and see if you'd even know how to repair that. Would it be?
Would it be investigation or to check them out or no?
I'm trying to think what would you use to be able to see if something can be repaired or not?
It's investigation.
Okay, that's fine. You have no idea. They look like wagons, and they look like they have some parts that are broken, but you also see some parts in here that are new parts hanging on the walls, so you're not sure if they could be repaired or not.
Owen, do you know anything about wagons? I'm yelling like through the hole.
A little bit.
Come take a look. See if you think we can fix these.
Okay. I think that we can totally fix those. Easy.
You're confident that it can be done. Yes.
Okay.
Let me take a look.
Do you think you could fix them?
How are you going to get up there, Elendo? Are you going to crawl through the hole too, like they did, or?
Okay. Is it how tight of a hole is it?
Wait.
Well, he fell through it. So.
I just send my cat up there, and
the cat no problem.
I will attend to Ish.
Somebody should watch the bodies.
I'm watching the bodies. I sent my cat. As you feel the feline purr up against your boots.
I pet him. I love kitties.
It starts licking some of the blood off your boots.
I seem like I have a strange attraction to Alondo's cat. By the way, if that didn't already happen,
I noticed.
Like all animals, I seem to really like him, and he seems to really like me.
There you go.
All right. So what do I see if I look through the cat's eyes? Shit.
Yeah, you really don't know. You've definitely read some books about wagons and know the components of a wagon, but you really don't have any clue how they would go together or what would be involved to fix them or the rest. So.
Okay. I don't know anything.
Guys.
I'm telling you, let's just get a stretcher or something and take these people out.
You don't think we'll be noticed?
Well, we're just gonna put them on a stretcher or something. I don't know.
And just stretcher them to the boat without any question?
We could just, yeah, I guess I didn't think of that. Perhaps we can go buy a hand cart and then come back.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. Why don't you guys stay with the body? I'll see if I can make a deal with some townsfolk here to help us out.
Before we do that, can we hide the bodies? Just in case someone walks in here that shouldn't be.
Do you want to stay with them while I get someone, or do you want to actually hide them and leave them? I would think somebody might want to stay with them.
What was
I can stay,
Owen? What were
or
you
Owen.
saying?
I can find a tarp or something.
Yeah, once you find a tarp and get the big guy somewhere else, and then hide this guy so that if someone comes in here, you at least have it covered. I won't be good at taking a hand cart. I kind of pulled my back yesterday.
Alando, is the door locked?
Did you guys re-gag the first guy or not?
I gagged him. I don't
Okay.
like him now.
Okay.
Alando, is the front door locked?
Well, I don't remember. Let me go check. I go check.
The door is not locked.
I'm gonna lock the door.
Okay.
We got this bloody murder scene here. I think we want to lock the door.
But if I stay here and watch the bodies, I can pretend I'm Rickles if anyone does come in. So why don't you two or one of you go get a cart?
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah,
And if you
Daryl.
run into any trouble, you can put those words in my mind like you do.
Well, it's only a certain distance. I mean, I don't think I could reach you to the docks or wherever you may find the cart, but I'll have the cat follow. If
And
you're,
I
if
can
you're in
come-
trouble, just tell the cat to come back.
Do you need me to come help bring the cart back, or are you gonna get like a horse with it?
Well, that's expensive.
Owen, I don't know what I may find out here. Maybe one of these local townsfolk might be able to repair this cart for us, since they'll not know what's going on in the next room.
Well, I actually, you can probably get a cart from the blacksmith. I mean, we did do him a favor and give him back his goods and all. And
Let's do
borrow
that.
the
Let's just
cart.
go to the blacksmith and borrow a cart.
Aye, that sounds like a good idea.
I'll haul it for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, thank you. I will watch. Well, actually, I will have my cat. I'll have my cat watch the outside. While
Okay.
you guys go get the thing. Might be better instead of following you. If you're in trouble, I mean, what trouble could you get
There's
in?
nothing you'll be able to do, so.
Yeah, probably not. I don't quite fly from ceilings like Strider here or anything fantastic like that.
So I'd
That was
like
really cool though.
Yes.
when we walk out with Owen, I would make sure both doors are very secure. And actually, did this building look like it was a normal merchant or just a resident house from the outside?
It looks like a merchant building of some sort. There, it looks like it may be a storage building for somebody for their carriages and then for storage goods. But it looks like hasn't been used in a while. It doesn't
So I
look
would just
like
verify both doors are locked and maybe carve closed in or put a sign up if there was something like that I could utilize for a sign.
Okay. You can carve in it. I don't see any sign, but you could carve in it.
I'll just and make sure the back door is locked as well.
Don't do that. I'll just write you a note. I find some paper and I write him a note. Post this up.
Fair enough.
So
Okay.
then I would start heading to Thorns with Owen, I guess.
Yeah. So you head over to
I-
Thorns, the blacksmith.
I lock the
Or not,
door
go ahead.
behind them, and while they're gone, I'm gonna cast detect magic, and I'm gonna search this place, and I'm gonna leave some food for Ish.
Okay.
Whatever.
You leave
dried
the cage
nuts
open,
are.
or do you lock the cage, or what do you do?
Oh
Or
no,
his cage?
I'm gonna leave the cage open. I'm like, Ish,
Okay.
make sure you tell me. Don't go wandering around. I'm going to be looking around. I'll be right here. I'll be right here when you need me.
Okay.
And your cat's outside, right? I just see him walking as we walk.
I'm gonna keep looking through the cat's eyes once in a while, but I'm gonna cast detect magic while we're waiting here.
All right, cool.
And
Okay,
how
yeah,
much money do you have on you?
I'm actually pretty broke. That's why we're going to ask for Thorns' help, right?
I have 9 silver pieces and 7 gold pieces.
Oh, okay, well, that should be good enough to at least talk your way out of anything you might need?
I think so.
I have 5
So,
gold and nothing.
What instructions do you have your cat just to follow with them, basically?
No, I'm gonna have the cat look outside of the
Oh,
just
okay.
in case anyone comes up and I'm not.
Yeah.
The cat will just be on the roof looking around. I mean, the
Okay.
cat can probably see them walk off wherever they're going. I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to go quite a distance. Each one of those
Okay.
squares.
Yeah, they probably
100
will tell.
still.
I'm going to take
Still.
a bathroom break.
Potty time.
Party.
Potty. It's 19. That was pretty daring, awesome move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm thinking about this as I walk away, and I think this is what's going to be going through my mind. I'm going to say, Owen, this isn't going to need both of us. I'd be more comfortable keeping an eye on things as well. Do you think you'll be able to get the cart yourself from Thorin?
He went to the bathroom.
Oh, well. Okay. Realize.
I think you guys should both go because you guys will probably have to. It'll probably be a pretty big cart to carry a 400-pound dude or whatever he is, right? So
Mhm.
it'll probably take 2 of you to be carrying that shit.
And I figured this
Unless
was
you get
conversation
horse.
on the way, like we're all halfway there, if not there already.
He's a tubby one. There's no doubt about that.
We taking a 5 real quick? I'm gonna get a drink then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Drinky. Drink.
Yeah, your plan is how I expected it to go down.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. It would have been a lot easier in nature, but we might not have found out as much stuff. And now we got these guys to question, so there's that, right? Well, I was thinking like get Ish out of there, and then see what we find, and then I don't know. I didn't trust. I knew this guy was probably working for him. He probably has all the bandits work for him. That's how he shakes down the whole town, right? Controls
Could
it
be.
that way.
Could be.
Because he's a dick. He's
He
an
is.
evil man. An evil man. Very. So, did you work today?
I did not.
Cool. What'd you
It
do?
worked. I didn't do much.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's been nasty here for weather-wise for the last couple days, and it's supposed to rain for 14 days straight.
Whoa. So, like,
Mhm.
nasty, like how? Hot or just rain?
Yeah, like super humid and hot and gross, and then thunderstorms.
Wow. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. It's not raining here. It's sunny.
I was gonna say, does it ever rain there?
Oh, it does. It did for a while, actually. It was raining a lot, which is really pretty weird. Considering we had like 6 years of drought, 7 years of drought or some shit.
Yeah.
Not that I was here for 7 years, but I guess it was 7 years.
Hmm.
7 years.
How long have you been out there now?
In LA, 4 years. And then
4 years, yeah.
San Francisco, I lived there for like a year and a half, and then before that was 6 years, and then a year. So I've been out in California for at least 12 years of my life, 12, 13.
That's crazy.
Yeah, something like that. Wait, how old am I? Let me make sure
43?
this is right.
How old are you? 42?
I'm 40,
3?
42, yeah. Yeah, probably about 12 years, yeah. Because I spent like 3-4 years. So actually, no, less than 12. More like 10 years in California.
Yeah, I've been out here for 12 years, I think. Let me see.
Oh, wow.
How long have I been married? 9? Yeah. 12 or 13 years, I think.
Wow, that's pretty crazy how time flies. Things
I know.
change, and
Nuts.
then we go back to play D&D because we're like, damn it.
Yeah! All cyclical, right?
I've always missed role playing. Out of all the things that I used to do, role playing was always
Yeah.
the top one. I always thought, man, it'd be cool to play if I could just find cool people to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like blowing up, so to the point where like you'll be able to find a lot more cool people than before. Because before it was like once you got older, you were super dorky that played it.
Oh, yeah.
It was really, really hard to find actually good people and that kind
Mhm.
of shit. Now it's like everyone plays it.
It's the cool thing to do now.
It is.
Are you talking about Dungeons and Dragons?
Role
Yep.
playing in general too.
I think you might still be a bit deluded. We're geeks.
No,
Yeah,
there's
Trust
so
me,
many.
a lot less.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, look at like Critical Role. I mean, they get millions of views and shit like that. Like it's turning into something different too. So
There are millions of geeks out there, let me tell you.
True. Far more accepted now than it was even 5 years ago, though. So.
And the same could be said for midget wrestling.
Bring it
But,
around.
So, if you say so.
Chuck, I don't know if you're here for that conversation, but last night I saw midget wrestling, and it was an amazing, fucking life-changing experience. At what, a $30 minimum ticket to $50. This was a tent in the pouring down rain, and I can tell you, people were 20 deep in the rain. Like, I'm outside of the tent because they couldn't even pile in to the ring area. So that was outside of the tent, just getting poured on. And I'm in this tent looking at these people. I'm like, damn, the rain is just coming down, and they aren't moving. They are all there to see some midget wrestling, and they got what they paid for.
hilarious.
Well, there you go. That's awesome. All right, so you guys go over to the blacksmith shop and walk in, and Getry is there still, the Thorin's assistant, hammering away on the anvil in the forge.
My good friend, we are in need of borrowing a cart from you for a quick afternoon errand.
And would you like your own cart then, the one you came in with?
Well, it's got things in it.
No, we took care of that. It's we took it all out, so it's empty now.
Oh, we would like our cart for the afternoon, please.
And take it.
All right.
It's yours.
I will take that cart.
He walks over, opens up the door, swings them wide for you, and there's your cart sitting there. It actually even looks like it maybe has been repaired.
What?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It pays to know people.
I'd give the boy 1 silver and, thank him for taking care of the repair, especially.
Don't thank me. Thorin paid for the repairs, but they were just finished earlier. But yes, feel free to take your wagon.
Very good, very good. Well met, sir.
And you. And he shuts the door behind you and heads back to the forge.
All right.
So you guys get to the murder scene, and what do you do? The wagon obviously will not fit through the alleyway there in between.
I would take it in the side of the larger doors, where you said there was the larger entrance around the back.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that was the only place that makes sense, unless we're going to cart the bodies out the front. And I would kind of converse with Owen. Owen, do you want to bring the bodies into the back room and load up there? I think that might be best, as we'll be undercover.
We can do that, but we can also just wrap them like in a leather or burlap sack. Make it look like we're carrying out goods.
And do you think take them out the front?
Sure.
Okay.
I
Make
message
it
you
look
guys.
like
I'm like, I see you.
Just make it look like a bolt of fabric or something that's all wrapped up.
Do we have those materials?
Yeah, there's some burlap and stuff. There's some burlap and stuff in the air in there, the sacks and that kind of thing that's in there. There's not any material or anything that'd be worth anything that way, but you can definitely could wrap them up.
All right, so we could just park the cart at the end of the alley. I guess I'd probably wait with the cart while Owen carried out the bodies. I mean, and I'd suggest that if Owen agreed.
Sure.
So you're just to make sure I understand. So you're parking them back here, kind of in the back side of things, or
So
out here
down that alley.
No.
back
If it's
here.
down the alley, I would do it right there.
Okay, you can't get in between the buildings here, but you can definitely get in between the bigger building and
Yeah. So right
awesome.
there.
That's fine.
yeah. Okay, all right. So you wrap them up. The one that's still conscious, that was kind of the guy that led you here, he's shaking his head very and talking through his gag as you guys start wrapping him up like a mummy.
You can be quiet and go like you are, or I can knock you out.
Yeah, what he said.
His eyes go even wider and he stops moving.
Man,
And if I'm right there with the cart, I would say, oh, and maybe we may want to do that regardless.
He starts talking through the
Travels are safer travels, I suggest.
we're men of our word. If he is going to be good, then we're not going to harm him at all. We have an agreement, yes?
He slowly shakes his head.
We are not the bad people. You're the bad people. We will treat you with honor if you be honorable.
Then I suggest, oh, and we should make sure his eyes are concealed so he doesn't know where we're taking him.
Well, we'll wrap him up just like his boss.
Yeah, you wrap him up, no problem. And it's definitely burlap over his head kind of a thing. He looks like they're cocooned, basically.
And then, so once they're in the cart, I would start getting all of the usable goods and anything trade goods that might be able to be used. Not knowing what necessarily we're doing with it yet, but I would use it at least for now to conceal the burlap sacks on the cart and make it as if the cart is filled with trade goods.
Okay. Roll a d6, somebody.
I'll be slow doing that, so
Well,
you
maybe
guys should do that.
Do it.
Do it.
Hey, helps if I could spell roll right.
You can just do R too.
Oh, you can. That's good to know. I'm gonna do that next time. That's awesome.
Yep.
Are
Okay,
you
cool.
ready?
You find 4 crates worth of stuff. One of them has, like I said, a little mismatch of everything from there. So some useless weapons that are definitely for the tourists that come through that are looking to buy some weaponry that are very, very shiny. In total, they're probably about 1 silver worth of actual goods that you could probably get for that. You do find some rations and some meat and some coils of rope that are all within that, all kind of in one spot in one of the crates. In one of the other crates, you actually find some sails mending material, which is very useful for you.
Yes.
So you find some rigging and some sail mending and looks like some netting even for that. So that's good.
Going back
And then you also, yes, and then you also find so looks like fresh water in one of them. It's just tightly packed in one of the crates there. And when you pull the crate and look inside, there are 4 barrels of looks like fresh water in that. And also trade good kind of stuff. And then you find one other one.
That's for sailing.
Sailing.
So you don't have to drink salt while there.
Yeah. And then you find one other crate that appears to have some small little, almost look like flasks, except they're perfect little cylinders. Spheres, not cylinders, sorry, spheres that have a stopper in one side of them, and they're completely dark. Like they're made out of glass. It looks like a very thick glass, but they actually are completely dark. You can't see through them at all. And they're very, very well packed in this crate. There are 12 in this crate. And they have, looks like wood shavings and some feather from some kind of bird or down, maybe packed around each one of these little things that are in there.
Let's say, Lundo, have you ever seen something like this? Did you find anything of interest in the building while we were gone?
Yes, did I? What did I find?
I cast detect magic, and I had a lot of time to just look.
Yes, you did. When you cast detect magic, you did not find anything that showed up.
That goes through
when you
boxes
search
and
through there.
walls, by the way.
Yes, yep. So you didn't find anything, and when you search around, you find a lot of wagon parts, a lot of wheels, a lot of axles, a lot of things that you have no idea what they are in the other area. In the other spot, you didn't really find much of anything. You found the bedrolls, like we said. There are some crates of what looks like at some point was some food and some it's probably rations at some point. There's just a foul smell in some of the broken boxes, kind of in the sleeping area that's there. And you found some, stack of firewood in a few spots, but not really much of anything else of interest other than what we just talked about in the crates.
Lundo, can you identify this orb? Have you ever seen something like this?
And did I find any secret doors, secret panels, hollow panels? Shit like that.
You did not.
Okay.
Let me take a look at that.
I go get my glasses out and then put them on.
Yes? You see that? Some black liquid and,
Do I, does it, how heavy
Roll.
is it? Roll
It's-
investigation? Or,
Why don't you roll history? It'd be better for you anyways, I would think.
I guess it kind of is.
You are not sure. You are
fucking
positive.
+7 on this shit, okay?
You are positive that you have seen this before in a book, but you just cannot for the life of you remember what the heck it is.
yes, I think I've seen this before, but it escapes me. Give me some time. Maybe I can look it up.
I would just pack it back in, I would sniff it, first. And I'm like, yep, looks like glass to me. And then I'd pack it back
wait,
in.
let me see this.
I take off the top.
It's very, very foul smelling. It smells like sulfur almost and death.
All right.
I pack it in and I go show it to the guy that we got wrapped up. If I can uncover it, I don't know where he is.
It also smells like saltpeter, if you know what that is. So.
No, I don't. But
And I do, but you said they were glass balls that smell like saltpeter?
There's a glass. It's a glass sphere with a cork in one top of it, but they're perfect spheres otherwise with some.
Oh, these may be
I
used
think I know
for
what they are, but
these may be used for explosive materials.
Well, maybe. Let me go ask. Let me go ask our friend.
Be careful.
I
Be
take it
careful.
off.
They
You
may
know
be
what these
fragile.
are?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
I go to our bound up man that's conscious. I'm like, do you know what these are?
No, I know that. I know Rickles took them off of a.
Gag from his move his gag so he can respond first.
He did. I'm assuming he did.
Oh, yeah.
I do it.
Yeah, I'm assuming you did, or you wouldn't have talked to him. It's I don't know. Rickles is I just load the stuff as I'm told. I know he got it from a merchant that was coming into town and swindled him out of them. I don't know exactly how. I just loaded it.
All right. We should take this too, but perhaps in second load. I think it might be kind of dangerous. Thank you. And then I tighten it.
I think it should be handled very carefully. That's why it's packed in feathers.
Yes, I agree.
And you want to leave it behind? Is that
Well,
what you?
If we're coming back a second time, I guess we could just put it in one go.
I think we should. I think we should just take it and handle with care.
All right, we'll do that.
I write fragile spelled wrong on the side of the crate.
Fragile. Nice. It's
And
Italian.
I also take the lantern up into the attic area to see if anything is now visible with light that I didn't notice before.
There's a hole.
There's besides the hole you came down in, there is another hole in the initial room where you guys walked in, kind of another area, and you can see that the rope actually goes from that where the sleeping area is right now, where the burn barrel was. There's a hatch in the ceiling there that has some planks over the top of it too, and there's a pulley system that allows you to be able to pull. You're assuming probably goods up and across from one room to the other, kind of a thing.
And otherwise, it's all empty up there. Nothing else up
Otherwise, pretty empty, yeah.
there. And did any of the cart repairing materials that looked good on those walls look useful at all to me to bring along?
Yeah, from what you did, I'll use your check from before. Yeah, I mean, you definitely think that there's some stuff here to repair carts and wagons and that kind of stuff that are on the walls here, because they look like they're in good shape. They don't look beaten up or worn or anything.
I'd load them up, not planning on coming back. If there was room, I'd throw them in the cart, if there was room.
I'd just like to point out that I'm the one pulling the cart, so let's go overboard.
Yeah. The wagon rolls much better than it did. So you actually are able to carry quite a bit more than what you did the first time around. But
I look over at Owen. Owen, would do you think you could handle this extra weight, Owen?
Yeah. I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
So I loaded on top, and I try to arrange things where the bodies are comfortable but well hidden under whatever goods we have. And I'm not trying to hurt them or crush them, but just well hidden. And then I would be done there. I don't know if you guys got anything else you want to do there.
All right, we'll say that with you, let's see. Yeah, we'll say you get 3 wagon wheels, an axle, and then some planking, it looks like, which is all stuff that you're assuming would probably work to fix this cart. That's what you think.
And then we should come back and get the rest of the riggings and sails. I think maybe some of this stuff belongs to the town folk, and if we were to get more allies in this, it would help us greatly if we could return some of this stuff back to people. But maybe the shipping stuff, we just kind of take that as the price of returning.
We shouldn't be greedy, because then we'll be as bad as they are.
Indeed.
Would you suggest we put it in the ship's hold, and then as we find the proper people to return it to, we can do in just time?
Oh,
that's a good idea.
That's a very good idea.
Better than just leaving it out for more scum and scavengers.
All right, so let's head back to the ship, and I guess we would probably want to take note about how much time went by for the funeral.
Yeah, it's definitely getting to be later. This is taking a couple hours by the time you got wagons, brought them back, and the rest. So
and while we're driving back, I'm gonna write a note, saying no, actually, maybe I could throw him off the trail. Like, all right, this is a thing. I'm worried about the region. He's gonna come back. He's gonna find his man gone, wondering where he is. I'm thinking maybe we leave him a note of some sort.
Okay.
Orlando, it is a good idea. Do you think the regent actually travels to these peasant quarters?
Yes, I think he does. I think he communicates with them, and he probably gets the items from them. I'm not sure, but this man probably talks to someone else, and if he does or doesn't, it doesn't really matter. But
You think to throw him off our trail, I think, is a good idea.
Well, maybe even more than that. Why don't we leave a note proclaiming... I've heard of such groups, Harpers or Lord's Alliance or one of these factions. Perhaps we can say one of these factions are on to you, and we have armies coming soon or something like that to make him worry of what he's doing. He could make more mistakes that way, or
What if this guy wrote a note that he was changing sides and betraying him?
Yes.
Make them
Yes.
really good.
Yes, that is good. He is gone. That is a very good idea.
And that
All the
You could
supplies
let
will
him-
be gone. He can say, I've left town on this such and such boat at this time, and then this guy is going to go looking for him and, send some of his men out other places where then we can, explore.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
Thank you.
and so forth.
Okay, I will write up the document.
Basically, Owen doesn't have a high intelligence, but he has a pretty good wisdom.
The document's gonna say, "Fuck you, Regent." I don't know. I don't even know how Ricky's talk because we barely got to speak to the man. So,
We didn't speak.
He
Just
said it at
screamed.
yeah,
Yep.
we just heard him scream.
He said, "Come in if you're coming."
Me and
Well, we got to ask his name, his partner's name.
I asked him what's his partner's name.
Who do you ask?
The guy that's tied up that's alive.
You ask him his name.
Yeah.
What's your name, boy?
It is Rodu.
All right. I'm gonna plug his ears. So he can't.
And then when he's not listening, I would suggest to Alondo maybe he knows who Rickles' contact was and when he may be coming back.
Yeah, we can. I think we can just ask Mr. Pickles over there. We can just ask him when he gets up. But I'm just gonna write a note. It's gonna be pretty simple. Fuck you. Fuck you, Regent. You've been screwing me over for far too long. I'm taking what's due to me, and I will be leaving on a ship deep into the night. Good day. Well, I won't say good day. I'll just say fuck you again. Signed,
Rickle.
Rickle. Can I find any paperwork with his name on it or anything?
With Rickles' name on it?
Yeah.
You don't really see anything with his name.
Rickles, obviously being a thug, he didn't have any like sigils or seals on him, right?
I'll sign it. I'll sign it like the note that was left in our room. It's probably by this guy anyways.
Okay.
Why don't you like blood print Rickles' finger and put it on there as a seal?
Ah, good idea. I take his hand, I put it in some blood, I put it on there. Assuming
Okay.
we have some blood.
Oh man.
I
We
we
have
got-
plenty of blood.
His rags are probably still bleeding a little, so yeah, it's probably all bloody. So,
Oh, yeah, he's got plenty of blood. There's plenty of blood around.
That's a
Okay.
very good idea.
and then I use prestidigitation to clean up any remains of anything that I may leave. you know?
Okay.
I don't. Did he have ink or anything? Was there any ink in this room? Because I use his ink. If
No.
not, okay, that's fine.
No, there wasn't anything.
All right,
Okay.
there you go. That's a good
Cool.
plan. We just bring all the shit to the ship and
Mm-hmm.
sails and all, and then
And
Cool.
then we're just heading out, right? We're heading out with our cart back to the ship.
yeah.
I think we
Yep.
should drop it off, guys, to Scally. Let him know we got some supplies and head over to the funeral.
Well, we gotta tell him he can't use them all. Some of them we have to keep and all.
Oh yes, we will just have him put these guys in the hold and these guys in the brig
Make
for
sure,
the time being.
make sure they're tied up and make sure you sweeten the deal for them so they don't go squealing like pigs.
Mm-hmm.
Would my knowledge of that of my ship's crew, because I think I did meet most of them, did I notice any medical officers in a normal ship, like kind of medic?
You didn't. Nothing that you would know. Nothing you saw there that you would assume is a healer of any sort. No.
Nothing I got introduced to like crew wise, because like when they. Nah.
Nothing you can
I wonder
remember.
if we could have any. If we do, we need to bring back any medical supplies for them to tend to these.
No, I think he'll be fine. I think I did the job from what I understand. I believe he'll be up in 1 to 4 hours, somewhere on there.
If you've patched him up, Alondo, that's much better than I could tell. For me, he looks like a pile of pulp. Push the cart away.
And to me, he looks like a pile of pickles.
Odd man you are, Alondo. And
You
All right.
didn't get it. His name is written Never mind.
I got it. Yeah. All right, so we're pushing cart there. Do we get ready to the ship?
Yeah, we probably got to do a couple trips, I imagine. So.
Yeah, it's not with everything that's there. You can definitely get the two bodies in there, and then we'll just say some of the wagon components to kind of cover them up. But if you want the rest of the stuff, you're gonna have to make another trip to get that too. So.
Yeah, we'll just.
So you make a trip over there. You talk to Shalrog on the boat, and he says, "All right, bring it aboard. This is your boat. We'll take aboard anything you've got." I see you've got. Hey, who do you have in there, by the way?
For now, we want to keep this hush hush. But let me, and I kind of draw
Exactly.
I draw his attention to like the sales and the supplies. I guess I don't know if we got that in this shipment back, but yeah. So I'm just going to mention the supplies and keep these two under wraps and tend to them in the brig. Make sure they are well under control and have no chance for escape. We'll be back later on today to deal with them.
All right.
You can call him Mr. Pickles, and you could call him Cucumber.
And I
don't get it.
I kind of just nod to Shalrag. You
when
can
you're
call.
My age, you find humor in most anything.
Shalrag, you can call them anything you want. Just make sure no one talks to them and keep them alone.
Aye.
Don't
All
let
right.
them talk.
All right. We'll take them below.
We'll be back before nightfall. I assume it's midday now about where the funeral's in a couple hours.
Yeah, it's getting to be dusk now with everything you guys are doing as far as taking everything back and forth and
so I'll
getting
just
that
say
stuff.
We'll be back by morning to tend to these two, and
right.
stow the other supplies.
And for your good work, we should give them something. How about we all pitch in something? Yes.
I believe we just paid them this morning, but yes, we can give them more now. I think we just gave them money this morning.
Yeah, we paid them.
Oh, you guys did? Okay, I didn't know. How much did you guys pay them?
We paid them. We actually stored 80 gold or 100 gold in my chest, in his chest. He has holding to pay the crew. I don't think they went through that in a day.
Oh no, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, awesome. Sweet. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I told him to just we're going to use it to pay as we go. Hopefully, it should still be there in his storage. But all right, cool. So then, I guess if we're still going, I would say we should head to the funeral if we get everything there. As long as we get the second, wagon there safely.
Yep. You can go over there without any problem. Nobody gives you any hard time about it or anything else. So
we should pay tribute to our fallen friend, Captain Skelly.
Oh,
Skelly
yes,
Bragg.
indeed. Let's go. I quite liked him actually. Let us go.
Yes.
okay.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, if we get to the funeral area, which I don't necessarily know that I know where it is, but if we get there like without issue, I would actually kind of lean back, stealth around the outskirts, and kind of keep an eye out for like what kind of people I see there that look out of place, that look like they're maybe not actually just there for the funeral.
Okay. Yeah, you guys make your way through town, and as you do, you start to see that there's people are starting to make their way to the graveyard area, which you guys have never been there before, but as you kind of walk to the east side of town, you see that there's kind of a field area there, and then off a couple 100 yards in there, kind of on the top of a gradual hill, you see that there is an actual a graveyard that's set up there. So so you guys head that direction, and you notice that it's not a very big graveyard. Obviously, the town's not all that large either, so you wouldn't expect it to necessarily be this big sprawling area. But it looks like it's pretty old. You see that there's definitely some tombstones that are of all sorts of ages. Most of the stuff looks like it's pretty old though, and that the only fresh stuff is really what's been dug for obviously the tragedy that's just kind of occurred. So You can go ahead and roll if you want in the tower, Strider.
Am I rolling stealth or perception?
Perception.
It's just stealth and perception, yeah. Because I kind of want to see if anyone looks out of place, like if they're attending the funeral, if they look like they're not, maybe just actually here mourning, if they look like they're not mourning and they're there for some other purpose.
Sure.
Perception. In the tower, you said, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That roll?
It did. Okay. Yeah, you don't see anybody out of place. You can tell that there's definitely some mourners that are coming up now that are starting to make their way towards the graves. You see that there's quite a few of them that are kind of spread throughout. You kind of initially would have assumed that they all would have been kind of collected together, but it looks like they're kind of spread throughout the cemetery a little bit there. So, but you do notice that there's a few of them that are congregating around a particular grave, kind of in the center area there. So, what do you guys want to do?
I'll go up to the grave.
Yes, I'll follow him.
And
Okay.
I would stay back.
Pay respects.
Okay.
And I send my cat in the perimeters to take a look around for, I don't know, attackers, bad people. Anything
Attackers?
out of line. Yeah, anything that's, I don't know. Anything suspicious. I'll look through his eyes once in a while real quick to see if I see
Okay.
anyone we recognize or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, the parishioners, the mourners just randomly keep coming up. You can see a couple at a time coming. And there's going to be a relatively large crowd that are showing up here actually now. So, you'd guess that there are probably 60 or 70 people that are here at a quick glance that have kind of shown up. You're assuming to pay respects. They all kind of don't seem to be talking very much and are all just kind of hanging out. They appear to be waiting for something, is what you'd kind of guess from the way that their demeanor is and what's happening at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting for somebody to lead this, as people usually do.
Very
Where's Ish?
Oh yeah, did he come in the cage?
Yeah, that's what. I was like, shit. What do we do? We left him there. Fuck.
No, we didn't leave him there. But I wouldn't have left him there. Did Ish ever come out of the cage?
He did not.
Okay. Ish, we're going now. I actually got a good place for you. I think you should stay on a boat. How would you like that? It's our very own boat. It's not taking off. No one will harm you there. You can be watched by many men. They're very good people. They'll treat you well.
It's been a few hours, so why don't you go ahead and roll another perception or persuasion check?
Did he eat the food?
He did not.
Okay. Yay.
Okay.
Either 14, 19, I don't know.
You see he kind of raises his head a little bit and looks in your direction. Are you talking to him in Draconian, or are you talking to him?
Oh, yeah, Draconian.
Okay. He says, "No more boats for me. I've got too many bad memories. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I don't feel safe anywhere."
Well, I wish to find a this place will be quite safe. I'm sorry it is a boat, but it is ours. It is truthfully ours now, out on the ship. And we have men that are men. They're kind men. They'll treat you well. I think it might be safer there than you staying in the room. You see, I think I've made a mistake. I think I left you in the room thinking you'd be safe, but no. I'm afraid that the humans aren't really ready for you yet, young man. I think it'll take time. And through your studies, you could, if you so choose, fit in. Up to you, though.
He says, "All right, I'll trust you this one last time."
Okay. You come to the ship with me.
All right.
Okay.
He very cautiously climbs out of the cage and walks with you to the ship.
Is this kind of
It's
like
a relaxed trip.
ship?
Probably drop off.
Okay. I'm gonna cover you up though, just to be more cautious, so people don't know. We have bad people that don't like us here, so
All right.
this time
So
I'm not making that mistake.
Is this when we're all at the ship, or am I there too, or I don't know?
Yeah, you can just say
we
during the
probably
last
just did
trip.
it, yeah, on our last trip there, we're like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
we almost forgot.
Yeah.
I would explain like to what's his name, Scallywag. What the hell is his name?
Shalrog.
Yeah.
Shalrog.
Ish.
Shalrog. I would explain to Shalrog, take special care of Ish. This is not just any old kobold. This is a close friend of ours, and he should be treated as such. Give him his own quarters.
He's studying to be a magic user. He has assignments. Make sure he does these. I tell him these writing lessons.
He looks at you kind of oddly. The crew won't like a kobold to get in their own cabin, but you are the captain.
Well, just leave him in the captain's cabin, and we don't have to worry about it. Yes.
He can have my captain. My quarters for the time being.
Do you hear that?
All
Ish?
right.
You'll have the captain's quarters. Though you're not captain, so you can't order anyone around. You must do what these men tell you.
Then Ish, while I'm away, I'm sure you understand I must lock my quarters to keep the crew out of here. But you will be safe here. Don't touch anything.
You still don't have the keys for the captain's quarters, by the way. So
Why don't I have the keys for the captain's quarters?
because it wasn't your ship, you wanted to give him a chance, and he didn't give you the keys.
Well, then I would have definitely replaced the lock, whatever I'd have to do. If that's still the case, then I would definitely take care of that. I would.
That's
Hey.
fine. You can tell Shalrog to make that a priority. It just he was preparing the ship, not doing that. But yeah, that's fine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep, he'll have it done then. He says.
Okay. Then he's good.
Okay. You drop off Heish and head to the cemetery.
Oh, I hope that one remains safe. I don't know what to do with him.
I think he might still have a shot, my friend.
Yes, it's more of a bigger picture. You see, if we bring him back out to the wild to be with the kobolds, he'll probably grow up to be a kobold and be slaughtered like a kobold, or do some horrific things. I'm not sure if. I just don't know. Perhaps he has a chance to have a different life, one that maybe he'd be happier with. I'm not.
I kind of like stop listening to him and I go, yeah, back to the funeral.
Yeah. I just go on about this. predicament.
Happy life.
You can tell, like, I haven't really dealt with like emotions of other people and weird things and life. I've only read about them in books.
So if we
Cool.
make it back to the funeral, I would actually specifically look to see if I see Thorin anywhere in the crowd yet.
You guys do not as you look around. You guys see the cemetery though?
I start asking everybody around me how they knew the captain and ask them to relate stories of his life and deeds.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely get some good stuff. Most of them are saying, yeah, he was a little rough around the edges, but he was a kind soul. I once saw him. Somebody says I once saw him give a beggar his last silver in the street after a particularly rough fishing trip. But that man cared more than anybody when it came to this here town.
Oh, he did. He even picked us up from the boats. I just start sitting down, start talking with them. I don't know if they're sitting down or what they're doing, but
Oh, they're all standing. You guys see the cemetery? Is it trying to pop up for you? Okay.
Oh,
So this
Yeah.
right here, this is the grave where Scurvy's being laid to rest, and there's a wooden pine box in there that's got, you're assuming, his remains in that kind of laying in that grave. And then there are some other fresh graves. You see kind of a few areas that are you're assuming are the rest of the crew that are there. They're kind of spread throughout. So most of them seem to be clustered kind of in this back area over here, freshly turned over. Some of them look like they're already covered over, but it's been recently done. So
Did you make this map?
maybe. No, I didn't. I
Oh,
stole
okay.
it.
Do we see like the magistrate or any of his military and guards here?
No, you don't. Not right this second.
So again, I'm staying. Are people funneling in from like one central entrance?
Kind of from on this map from the north is kind of back towards town. So that's kind of the area.
I honestly would kind of stealth towards the very back entrance against the wall to just kind of identify everyone as they come in and take note of how they, what their activities are here.
Okay, so you can see there's not really a whole lot of cover kind of on this hilltop. So really where you'd want to be is probably in one of those bushes or something like that. Ultimately,
or even in one of the bushes or leaning. Let's see, the bushes.
tree maybe.
How far are these blocks? 10 feet?
They're 5 feet.
Oh, okay. Then the bushes are fine. I'm close enough.
Yeah.
And they're coming from that north entrance there.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, so let me drag my guy on here.
That's good.
I'm gonna say that I'm actually back here. If they're only 5 feet, that's what, about 50 feet away. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna back here, and I'm kind of just identifying everyone as they come up, taking note of who they are, where they go, and you want me to roll stealth for that?
Yeah, you can roll just to see. Roll it in the tower again just to see how well you hide.
Okay.
Okay. You think you're pretty well hidden.
And I'm taking note for anyone of interest that I could recognize, or if there's any nobles that stand out, or any people that look like that I've seen before. I'm really looking for anybody that I either notice or stands out from the rest of the crowd.
Okay. They look like pretty much common folk for the most part. There's nothing that really stands out to you as out of the ordinary from your passive. You can roll a regular perception check too if you want, just to see if there's anything.
Is that tower or?
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you don't really see much of anything that looks odd or out of the ordinary, or anybody that might be of nobility or anything like that. It looks like they're pretty much the salt of the earth kind of people, the same people you see walking the streets every time you guys go through, ultimately. So
Okay.
So you guys kind of mingle throughout and have conversations with the town folk. Like I said, it seems like most of them are kind of waiting. And about 30 minutes goes by, it's starting to get a little darker. Just the sun's just starting to dip below the horizon at this point. It's not fully below, it's just starting to touch the horizon. And you see a very common figure come walking up, Thorin. Thorin comes walking up, and the crowd kind of parts for him as he comes strolling up to the front of the headstone there. And he kind of stops and looks around everybody that's there. This is, I guess someone needs to say a few words, and from the looks on your faces, it looks like it needs to be me. You get a lot of nods from a lot of the people around the area, and so he stops kind of what he's doing. I'll put him on here too, just so you guys have him. You know where he's at and what he's doing. Stand right there. And the crowd's kind of formed like a semicircle around the gravesite at this point. This is, well, for those of you who know me, I don't be having the best of words, but I do have the best of intentions. I think we can all say the same for Captain Scurvy. He was the best of the best. He's sailor through and through, but someone who cared as much about this here town as I do. and as all of you do, with not a lot of heads shake. And I don't think I have the words to do it justice around what he's done for this town and what he's accomplished in his long life. And I just don't know what else to say other than to say he'll be sorely missed, and that whoever is responsible for this fire that took place on his boat needs to be held responsible. And I don't know how else to say it, but when the captain of a ship goes down and everyone else on that ship goes down with him, a little part of the town dies. So I think we all need to, and kind of he's in the middle of his conversation, you guys feel the ground start to rumble a bit.
Oh, shit, I knew
Kind of faint. It's kind of faint. And you guys kind of notice it. Strider, you notice, because you're actively looking, that it feels like it's coming from off the distance from town, perhaps. And as you guys, Thorn kind of stutters in his conversation, and you can tell that he kind of notices but kind of doesn't, and continues his speech a bit, and it gets a little louder, and the ground starts to rumble a bit more. And as you're kind of standing around the grave, Strider, you see coming crusting over top of the hill what looks like an entire battalion of city watch guard that are now marching in formation towards the cemetery. They're 4 abreast, and they look like they're at least 20 deep. And in the back, you see a carriage. And for Alundo, for you, and actually for all of you, it looks pretty familiar for a carriage that you've seen making its way through town before. It's kind of at the rear of the entire battalion as it moves its way up the hill slowly. Thorn attempts to continue his speech, but now it's becoming so loud that he's having difficulty even shouting over top of the thunderous noise of the stomping and the horse and the carriage being pulled. And so
I'm gonna make my way out of the crowd and go to a bush.
Okay. Yeah, they're still a distance off at this point, okay. So that's no problem.
Don't
Where
let
do you
my
move
cat,
to?
My cat watch the funeral.
I'll keep an eye on where he goes as best I can. I don't want to follow him and alert people, but I don't want him to disappear from me.
You try and move silently through the crowd, or how do you do it?
So
your way through, or
people don't really notice. Yeah, just kind of hidden a bit. So I'll do a stealth check, I guess, if you want. Like like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, and I go running off to the bathroom. So no, I guess it won't be that silent, but I will go behind a bush, and then I'll go to another bush. Like I'll go to, let's say I'll go here to this bush, right? Act like I'm peeing, and then I'm gonna try to quietly go to the big bush over here.
I guess there's no reason I need to whisper what I was thinking. Do I feel like it's the full complement based on the rumble, and like do I feel like it's like almost all of the magistrate's guards in this grouping?
You're not really sure. You haven't really heard about how many were brought from Urin, how many were brought in.
Do any of them look like? Do any of them look like to me the guards that guard the entrance to the magistrate's place?
They look exactly like that.
If they looked exactly like that, I'd probably leave the funeral to see if the magistrate's entrance is unguarded.
Okay. All right, so you're gonna try and sneak off then?
And since I'm hiding in the bush, I feel like no one's gonna see me, so I just head right out.
When I go hide in the bush, I message both of you that I'm hiding over here in the bush just in case something goes south.
Okay. So you head back towards town, kind of stealthily?
Yeah, exactly. Like totally staying off the path and staying on the side. I head towards town. Yeah. I don't know how long it would take me and how long, timing you have to tell me, but that's what I would try to do.
Okay. You head off. You make it about 4 feet, and one of the scouts you didn't really see, kind of alongside of the company that's there, says, "You there? What are you doing?"
I'm
You didn't
going.
roll
Back,
well.
I'm going back to the inn. Why are you in my way?
You're walking kind of stealthily along, so he's curious as to
It's a funeral.
what are you up to. What are you up to?
I'm not up to anything. It's a funeral.
Mhm.
I'm not. I don't want to take away from the great captain's funeral here. I'm just going back home. I've had a bit too much to drink tonight, and I stagger a bit.
He gives you a second look, and then he says, I've got your face now. You mind your business. Off with you.
Is there anyone around us right now?
Oh yeah, there's a whole company of battalion of guards there.
I was away in that bush. Does anyone else see us and see this guy talking to me?
You don't really know. I mean, you don't see anything specifically, but there's, he's not that close to you. He's probably 30 feet away from you, calling you out.
Oh, okay.
He's basically walking alongside the
He
battalion.
doesn't have that great of a view of my face then either.
He could be bluffing too.
I'd continue away then, and I'd act like a drunk, continue on that act, and just head back towards town.
Okay,
The good old drunken act.
sounds good. Yeah, so the battalion actually doesn't go into the cemetery. It kind of moves its way this direction around the edge so that it can still be close to the grave, and they kind of form up right here. Alundo, you may want to, if you're trying to be hidden, you may want to roll.
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
I don't want them to see me. I just don't trust it. I don't know. What's going on? I will do. Oh yeah, I gotta do it in the tower.
Yeah.
Was it plus? I
Up
almost
the
forgot.
tower.
I got +3. Tower of Power. Roll high, baby. Roll high.
And
And
you feel you're pretty well hidden.
just so you know, after I was out of range of that scout, I would still continue to check, even though I'm not there yet. Whenever I get there, I would continue to check to see if it looked unguarded.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, it'll take you a little bit to get there, so I'll let you know when you do. Yep. So I'll kind of draw it on here just for the hell of it.
Meow.
So the guards kind of set up in a line like this, a line like this, a line like this, and then a line like this. They're not quite standing on top of the bush, but like that. And then the carriage is kind of in the center here. They're sending a defensive perimeter basically around the carriage that's there, which is also drawn by 2 horses, by the way. So
My cat tries to walk through the middle there.
tries to walk through the
Yeah,
guards?
Through the guards, right. Actually, he
See.
walks out from the bush and then.
We'll see if they notice him.
You want me to roll stealth for him?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you have a. Oh shit.
We'll just do that passive perception. That's fine.
Let me look up what the cat stuff is. Shit, I didn't. Here, I gotta look at my thing. Take me a sec.
I can probably find it.
Oh, I got it. He has
Yeah,
a stealth
I got it.
+4.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to roll?
Sure. Okay. Cat goes to walk stealthily between there, and one of the guards looks down and says, "God damn cat!" and kicks it. Kicks the cat out.
And the cat goes flying out and.
You rolled a 2. Nice work.
Yeah, no, he got annoyed by the cat. That makes sense. So.
Yep.
So the cat just goes running over.
Yeah,
here.
so they pull up, and the magistrate is the one in the carriage, not surprisingly. And he climbs out and actually climbs up on top of the carriage and stands on the top.
Oh, I'm gonna get a good look at him. Excellent.
And he says, "Oh, Thorin, am I interrupting your speech?" And Thorin looks up at him and says, Petrie. And he says, "That's Magistrate Petrie to you, common blacksmith." And Thorn says, "My apologies, Magistrate. I was just finishing up." And Petrie says, "Well, as the ruling member of the overseeing the day-to-day of the town here, I think it's my obligation and my duty to say a few words when it comes to such a noteworthy individual in our town. Wouldn't you all say?" And the townspeople all kind of look in his direction kind of sheepishly, and some of them nod, and most of them just kind of look at their feet. "Well, what would I expect from townspeople, of course? They're going to do what they're told anyways. Well, what can I say about old Captain Scurvy? He definitely delivered on his promises for what he committed to doing, which is more than I can say for some of you." And he takes a look at some of the folks in the crowd, and you can see that a lot of them turn away and don't make eye contact or visibly are shaken by the look. "It's a shame when such tragedies befall those that know their place and know what their contribution should be to our town. I think maybe we should set up some sort of memorial for Captain Scurvy. I saw that remains out in the harbor. That may be a perfect spot to set it up as a reminder to all of us as to what good dedication looks like for someone who's given so much for our establishment. Don't you all think that would be a fitting way to honor his memory?" And you can see that there's a few people again in the crowd that nod, but most of them are kind of shrinking back a bit. "Well, the regent couldn't be here himself, of course. He's very busy. But he sends his regards and wanted to send his best wishes to all of you and to, of course, to Scurvy's crew and I guess there isn't any crew or family for Scurvy, is there?"
Okay, as soon as he pauses, I'm going to cast Prestidigitation to make a big, loud sounding fart. And then, because I was going to do water to make him pee, but I can't really do that.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to make a really bad foul odor come out. It's just going to be like... like really wet, juicy squirts, right? Come out.
Coming out of the magistrate, or
Yeah, coming out of the magistrate. I have the range, it's 30 feet or whatever, and then...
Oh, yeah, you're within range for sure.
Oh, 10 feet. And I can do a smell also with it. And then
Nice.
I'll do wind so it blows onto the crowd.
Yeah, you can tell he's a little taken back by it, and he looks around a bit, looks down at the crowd, glares at the crowd. You can see that there are people that their eyes are basically watering, that they're fighting off, trying to make any faith or any change that they're happening there. Yeah.
I turn to the person next to me and say, "Well, that was unfortunate." Kind of ruined.
Everybody is dead quiet. I mean, it's just dead quiet there at all, so that definitely comes across. He says,
And then as he's about to
Well-
speak, you hear like a really high-pitched noise come out.
"Must have been something I ate." Regardless, I think everyone understands what we need to do to make this town into an actual thriving, productive member of the Murin city-state. So everyone contribute. I'd hate to have to put together monuments and reminders for the rest of you as well. It would be such a tragedy.
Big Fart comes out again. I'm gonna make the smell blow in the crowd. I'm actually trying to get the crowd to just crack up laughing at his.
I will totally crack up with that.
But you can have me roll like a persuasion check or something and give me like a DC or I don't know, whatever you do.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, they're all pretty
maybe
terrified.
They're so feared. Oh, actually, maybe it would be versus his intimidation, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
So you'd roll his intimidation and then
I'll do
be
that.
versus like my persuasion, which I'm not. Maybe I get advantage because what I'm doing. I don't know, but no, maybe it's Arcana. I don't know. It's up to you.
You can do persuasion. That's fine. And then I'll do.
Or would it be performance?
It doesn't matter. It's the same, so whatever.
Yeah.
I could get lucky.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, it is a pretty advantage to be using magic.
Yeah. Even with advantage, though, what I just rolled, you're screwed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you can definitely see that there's a few people that kind of cover their mouths, and you can't tell if it's because of the smell or because they're covering a snicker.
Yeah.
It's definitely, you can see that it's kind of permeating through the crowd there, especially the second time around. And he says, well, enough of this. I'll let you get back to your ceremony. And he slides off the carriage and jumps back into the inside, and the company starts to break rank, and they start to march back towards.
As he goes in, I'm going to.
Thank you.
I'm going
I think
to
he
make
probably pooped in his pants.
Yeah, I'm going to make a Harper symbol appear on his wagon, which I can do for up to an hour. Like
Okay.
As one of the guards closes the door, there's a symbol. I want it to be apparent to him too. It looks like it's sort of getting burnt, and I can do like a symbol appear on an object. So I'm gonna do like a branded symbol kind of thing.
Okay.
And what's it
looks
look
like?
like?
It's burned on.
Okay,
the
cool.
Harper, you know what the Harpers are, right?
Yep. Okay. Cool. So, like inside the wagon, or
on the
whatever?
outside, so that the people can, so that everyone else can see. So the guards, I don't know, maybe they say something. I'm not sure. So.
Okay. Let me see. I'm sure they probably will, but
Yeah, I'm making it pretty obvious.
yep. Yeah. There's a couple of them that you can see noticeably. They look in different directions, and a couple of them even point. I'm assuming on the side, obviously where it's been emblazoned on there, and some of the townspeople actually you can see are pointing as well, and starting to mumble there as well as the things happen. They continue on, they form up into ranks. You can tell some of the sergeants start barking at the rest of the line because they're not forming ranks as quickly as they'd like, and they move them along, heading back towards town. But you don't see anything noticeably that happens with that.
Okay.
Cool. And let's see. So yeah, while that happens, Strider, you head off in that direction. And yeah, you make it over to the manor house area pretty easily, and you see that it is just as well guarded as the last time you left. So there are two guards at the front, and like I said, it goes up in tiers, so it's kind of difficult to see along the top edge, but you can definitely see that there are at least a couple more people that are up along the top, and the gate seems to be closed up tight.
About how many feet do I expect from the bottom to the building? From the bottom where I could stand around the outskirts to the building?
You mean to the building itself? Well, it goes up about 20 feet to the flat part. So you're kind of ground level. There's a whole set of stakes in the ground, tree size with the tops that are sharpened. all the way around. Then it goes up about 10 feet. There's another ring, goes up another 10 feet, and then there's another ring along the top.
So it's about what, maybe 35, 40 feet to the building from the bottom if I was on the edge?
From the bottom to the actual building, we'll see it. Each one of those squares is 25 feet. So 50 on a diagonal. Yeah, it's about 50 feet.
Okay.
It's
do
20
I see
20 foot up, 20 foot up, and it's 50 feet in.
around the outside of that fence? Does it look like, because there's guards at the gate, right? Do
Yep.
I feel like that's a big round fence around the bottom? Like I feel like there's rooms that I could sneak up to the gate, not by the guards, along the edge.
You could sneak up to the fence or
Yeah,
to the
right.
wall. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to sneak up to a far side of the fence, far away from where the front guards and should I roll stealth for this?
Yeah. Are you gonna go to the north or like around that where you guys went to
the
the?
map for me to really say. You want to pull that map up real quick for me to say?
Oh yeah, sure. I can do that. See ya.
Cool. Yeah. And okay, and the guards are right there, and I don't see any other little guards along the fence, right? The
You don't
building,
see-
his building, right in the middle, right?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go up past these bushes, definitely, so I'm clearly blocked by any guards around.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Would this be a good line of sight on the guards?
Sure.
I'm gonna shoot one arrow with a note on it that says for Captain Scurvy and I'm gonna put that note, like I'm gonna shoot it on the arrow up to the building.
Uh-huh.
And then I am going to use my alcohol on the next arrow and light it and shoot it at the building.
Okay. So you're just shooting an arrow kind of in the general direction of the building, or you want to hit the building with it, or what do you think?
No, I'm trying to hit the building intentionally to set it on fire.
Okay. What the one with the note though? Where do you want to
The
shoot
one with
that?
the note, I'm trying to go. Depending on my marksmanship, I'm aiming for the front door or for it to land in the dirt in front of the front door.
Yeah, you've got the range to do that. Let's see, it's from there. It's 25, 50, 75, 100. Yeah, it'll be long range, but yeah, you can shoot it that far. That's fine.
So the note can just be general direction, land in the dirt, and then the next one would be to hit the building and any wooden part that I think I could catch on fire with that.
Okay. It's not tough to hit a building, so go ahead and roll, and
What am I rolling?
just an attack roll, as long as you don't botch it. Yep, no problem. You launch one, light it, one, shoot it up, sails into the air.
And if I had all felt like it was good enough to start like a flame on the building, then I would just casually get into the woods and get out of there. As long as I felt like that was
Okay.
at least going to start something on the building.
Okay, you shoot the arrow. You definitely hit your target. You can kind of tell from here because it's raised up, so you can kind of see the roof line a little bit of the building that's up there, and it hits, and it looks like it's got a little bit of flame that's going on the top of it.
That's all I was looking for at the time, worried about anything else seeing me, so then I would kind of duck out after I saw that into the woods.
Yeah, as soon as you shoot it and it hits the roof line, you start to move, and about a minute later, you start to hear ding, 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 ding. There's a bell going off from somewhere inside the fence that's happening. And you move off into the woods. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you move off into the woods, and you hear the clanging continue, and you hear some shouting off in the distance, a couple hundred feet. You probably hear it a little bit. You're fire! There's a fire on top of the roof. Find the culprit. So, and yeah, how far do you go in the woods? Which direction do you go? All that stuff.
If I heard them saying, they would know. They would know. I would think that they would have no idea that someone shot an arrow yet, right? Or do I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, am I?
Well, I mean, it's not that tough to see. The building's not that tall, so as soon as they run over there,
I got you. Okay, if I
smells.
feel like they see an arrow on top, then
Yep.
what I would do is head. Let me move my character. 1 second.
You were just going to point at the screen, weren't you?
I was actually grabbing the wrong mouse.
Nice.
Look, these are sitting next to each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Identify which computer they're for.
I have the same one.
The light. That's funny. So I already doused myself with ale. So
Yep.
You got that message, right?
Yep.
So then I would, go along the tree line here, and then just head towards the inn, drunken in a drunken stupor.
Okay.
I don't know if I make it there, but that's what I would go. I'd be like, walking away from, obviously far away from the building, in a drunken stupor towards the inn.
Okay. Yeah. So you head that way. So you're not trying to be stealthy, right? You're trying to act drunk,
I'm
basically.
just trying to act drunk, yeah, like just falling over down the path, just like I'm walking back to the inn.
Okay. Yeah. So you get over there, you shoot the arrow, and you definitely hear the bell, the bells going off, of something, alarm bells happening, and as you kind of get near the blacksmith shop, or kind of where you're at right now, you actually hear some thundering of footsteps again, although this is at probably double time pace, and they're heading back this direction. And it's kind of as you round the corner, you see the entire company head to the north up in this direction, follow along the path here, making a break for the actual manor house this direction.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would just let him pass, and I would just kind of continue in my stupor away. Just maybe blend it in with the crowd from the funeral if I got that far. Or I mean, the inn's obviously down south, but I didn't get there yet.
Yeah, you're heading down towards the inn, and they kind of double time it back. The gates swing open, and the entire company heads in. Gates close behind. All right, cool. Yeah, you make it down. We'll say you make it to the inn, no problem. Nobody gives you a hard time about it. It's hardly anybody in there. You actually there's a bartender behind the bar that you don't recognize, you've never seen before, and there are no other patrons in the bar at all.
In that case, I would just order a drink at the bar and just commence drinking. Just have it, really just nurse a drink, fake, for a cover. Really wouldn't be drinking it, but just, yeah.
Okay. No problem. Cool. I'll back to this real quick. All right. So for you that are in the actual cemetery, what do you guys want to do? You can see that as they kind of march off, Thorin just kind of shakes his head. Doesn't really say a whole lot else. Pays his respects to the grave. He does toss something that's shiny down into the grave itself, and then proceeds to walk through the crowd and back towards town.
Before he goes, I'll come up to him and say, I'm sorry for your loss. The captain was a good man.
He was the best.
Is it common for that guy to come take the piss out of public ceremonies like that?
Only when he's trying to send a message. I think it was everybody understood what he meant.
Yes, and he had quite a bit of gas.
He did seem to have some sort of issue today.
I kind of walk with him the way back.
Okay.
It seems we've uncovered some important information. Would you...
Kind of looks around. He's like, not here. Not here.
Meet us on the boat tonight. Our boat.
He says, where's your friend Whisper?
I do not know.
Comes and goes as he pleases.
He kind of gets conspiratorially close to you guys and says, there's a meeting set for tomorrow night. Don't miss it.
Where?
What was it called? Hold on. Let me look again.
They do have a resistance. Good.
Chantilly pony, I bet you.
Waldo's Sundries, he says.
I'll do sundries. All right, we'll meet there tomorrow night, but must come to the boat tonight. We have pressing information, and we wish to drink to the captain on a boat. I wink.
I don't know that it's good that we're seen together, but that there be drinking involved, I don't know that I can pass it up.
Aye.
And I just walk off.
Okay.
Next time, I'll send message from afar.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay.
That's a good spot to stop, or we can keep going, whatever you guys want to do. So.
I'm fine. It's early for me.
I think it's friggin' 4 o'clock in the afternoon for you.
Yeah.
I think I can keep going. If not, Ben, you're on the East Coast with me. You done? You tired? I can quit too.
Chuck's Mitts, I guess Central technically, but
Yeah, he's only an hour.
I should probably turn in since that poster I'm working on is due tomorrow, so I got to get up in the morning and finish it.
Yeah,
That sounds good then. It's a good spot for me too then.
yeah, I gotta work.
It sounds like a good spot. It was actually really cool. It gets deeper and deeper. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Getting deep.
Yeah, it was a fun. It was definitely a fun night. There was a lot of stuff going on.
Cool, good. XP wise, let me look. You defeated those two.
I am but a breath away from level 3.
You're probably gonna get it.
Oh, did
I'm
you guys
like
get
so
experience
curious.
last time? Did you? Oh no,
Yeah.
you put it in my sheet, didn't you?
I'm so curious if you even plan for us to fight those guys now.
I did not. I didn't expect you guys to I definitely didn't expect you to jump through the window. I expected you to defeat them, but I didn't expect you to
So
jump
you
through
did
the
think we'd actually fight them? Like that would be a fight, those guys?
I figured that you probably, because they were just stupid thugs. You guys would have just figured out how to manipulate them.
I was wondering if you were thinking like we're supposed to turn them into the cops or something like that. You know?
I didn't. Well, see, that's the thing. I haven't figured out from your group whether you're the, follow the straight and narrow and do the right thing, or whether you're going to take justice into your own hands, or what you're going to do. So that's it's.
Yeah, I think we're still figuring that out too.
Yeah.
I feel like in my mind, my guy like does what he thinks is right, which he's not trying to be like necessarily a bad guy, but he's trying to do what he does what he thinks is right.
Yeah. Other than he's a klepto. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you play your character more neutral, mostly because your first instinct is, oh, the guy wronged me, I'm just gonna kill him. That's more of a, a sort of fairness, but in a neutral sort of way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When I think I picked neutral good. Would that be wrong for him?
Yeah.
Maybe, probably. You're probably more like straight. I mean, you're a ranger. Being neutral would make a lot of sense. So,
I mean, neutral is what I was going for, but in my mind, it's like a ranger from the sense of like he's neutral, but he's doing what he thinks is good, what he thinks is right.
Probably more chaotic good, actually, but
Chaotic good, is that what it would be?
Yeah.
I'm chaotic good too, but
you're playing more like you're getting closer to lawful good the way you're playing.
A little bit. Yeah, but I'm like, oh, I found out these guys are bad. I'm like, no, put them on the boat. These guys,
that's
I'm
true.
not gonna bring them into the. I didn't want to bring them into the authorities or anything like that. So, but anyway,
Yeah, that's true.
Shit, I forgot.
I could probably be more neutral good, which would make more sense.
What made you say the klepto? Because we took the stuff from the thugs?
Because every time that there's anybody that dies, you're the first one to loot their bodies and keep the stuff that's on them. That's why.
So,
Sure.
yeah, I mean, if that would be klepto, I was thinking. I think klepto. I think of more of stealing it from live people. But yes,
No, yeah,
if I see a dead body, I am going to loot it. There isn't any scenario that's not going to happen.
I think you're the only one that well, I shouldn't say that. You're not the only one that has loot, but you have the most loot for sure.
What do you know? I am neutral good.
Well, there you go.
I didn't know I picked that.
Let's see. How about 125 a piece for everybody?
Okay.
How about 130?
You're 5 off?
Yeah.
5 XP off?
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? For making the magistrate fart, you can have an extra 5 XP. How's that?
Yay! Booyah!
100,
Thanks.
130 for everybody. How's that?
Okay, that puts me at exactly 1,000.
Does it really?
Yeah.
It's funny.
What's that bring you to, Londo?
900. You need 900 for 3rd level. And then 20.
Because remember we had that whole experience conversation after he fell off the train last week.
What's that?
Where we were trying to figure out actually where my experience was supposed to be because I think I missed one session, and we were actually figuring that out last week after you got off the train. I think.
Yeah, I could be missing. I don't know. I might have missed one. I don't remember.
Did Chuck? Did you play every time?
Yes, I played every time.
But now I still think we ended up with it wrong then because you just said you're at 900.
I'm at 1,000.
Oh, okay, then that's right. I'm 125 behind you. Yeah, that would line up perfect.
Yep.
I probably should be at 1,000 too, but yeah, it's fine. As long as you go up in level, nobody cares.
Yep.
Of course, that makes a difference to the next level. Oh, geez, what to get? Fucking spells. I don't think I get anything in my classes at 3rd level either.
I would have disposed of those 2 thugs' bodies.
Yes,
Oh, I know.
but now we have them for questioning, you see? Now we're going to find out information who this motherfucker speaks to.
Yeah, I'm glad to keep somebody alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rickle, honestly, that's why I killed him that way. My thought in my mind was to just totally incapacitate him, but my hits were too good to even act like I did that, you know?
Yeah. Well, you can, on your last hit, you can choose to knock him out. If he's going to go down, you can either say, oh, okay, I'll knock him. It'll be a knockout blow. Or,
Oh, see, that definitely was my intention. I didn't know I could say that.
Yeah.
Because that's why when I described it, I said I was trying to cut off his arm, and I accidentally went too close to him and took him out.
Yeah. Was that your hit points?
No, I wasn't sure if I wanted to take the minimum or roll, so I just decided to roll to see what the average would be.
Average is, anyways.
How'd you do?
I'm just going to take the 6 because I rolled just to see what the dice were like. And
I
while
didn't look good or
What you
bad.
wanted.
just not confident in it enough. Like the minute I'm like, okay, this one's for real, it's going to be like, great, 2.
Mm-hmm.
What are your hit points, Chuck?
29 now.
And you're a warrior, right? I mean, a fighter.
Yep.
Is it weird that I had like more hit points than you before that level at the same?
What's your constitution?
Constitution, though, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, mine's 16, and I'm a level.
I believe you rode too, didn't you? I think
I
you
rolled. I had really good rolls though.
Yeah,
You roll.
you should have more.
I've taken the average, and my constitution is lower than yours.
Because I noticed I had more hit points, and I was thinking a fighter was going to have more. Just I guess but it's all the rolls really, right?
Yeah.
No, fighter and ranger is like the same with your constitution. Then of course if you roll, then it's always different.
Yeah. Because I have a D10, but I'm just not confident in my rolling. I've been rolling like crap for the past couple of weeks.
Do you think like I should actually change my alignment to neutral?
No, chaotic good.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm neutral good. Do you think I should change it to chaotic good?
You're
I would.
chaotic, yeah.
The way you're playing it.
Chaotic good. Okay, I just changed that. Is that okay? That's something a player can normally change in a sheet, or no? Did the GM do that?
You can change it. It's fine. It's, previous editions, there used to be big penalties for not playing your alignment and all that other crap, but I'm not worried about it. So
There still can be. It's up to the DM.
I mean, if you all of a sudden pull a 180 and start, like killing everybody in sight, then yeah, probably I would make you change your alignment and give you a penalty. But if it's
like in my mind, in my character's mind, not like me, my mind, like
right,
I was like I saw that they were holding him there, and that's how I would have reacted.
Yep, for sure.
You were motivated by good, so that's why you're still good.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Is chaotic good kind of more? I mean, not that I would consider my
Robin
character a
Hood.
vigilante. I
Robin
really
Hood
would
is
never say
chaotic good.
vigilante, but like, is that along the lines of chaotic good?
Yeah, take the law into your own hands. You dish out justice the way you see it's fit.
Because you
And,
don't believe in the actually law being just.
yeah, potentially. Yep.
Yeah, you're basically Robin Hood.
Yeah,
Yep.
vigilante kind of. Yeah.
I am taking a proficiency in carpenter's tools because I can.
Probably a really good idea based on the crap that's popped up so far.
Yeah, we've needed to fix a lot of shit.
If you
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you look at Xander's guide or whatever, it gives you really cool things you can do with carpenter's
Yeah,
tools.
there's
so-
some awesome stuff in
yeah.
there. Yeah, I figured Owen's been on ships enough that,
Makes sense, right?
yeah.
Yep. It's
and
funny because I actually, and there's a lot of stuff you guys can do. Obviously, I'm actually surprised that you haven't headed out of town here yet.
There's just so much going on in town.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's just been so like action filled and not a lot of shit
Yeah.
leading us out of town yet, right? Besides the looking for bandits at one point.
Yep.
Well, this is this is definitely a wide open. You guys do exactly what you want to do, kind of a thing. There's not a whole lot of path as far as
And I feel like there's always the advantage of staying in the group because like there's always you know what I mean. Like some of the stuff is best being done by all of us, and obviously it's easier to manage, right?
Yeah.
My main thing that I've thought about doing out of town is going to Murin, which I don't know how far it is. I don't know how long if that's like something I get to quickly or not.
yeah, you could find out pretty easy, but yeah, you don't know right now.
So there's the regent isn't actually living in town, right?
From what you know, he resides in the manor house, but you have never seen him. And from what the conversations you have with people, very few people in town have actually seen him. Everybody deals with the magistrate.
So should we ended up now obviously should we like say we're ended up at the inn or we just ended up kind of where we're at? Like I'm at the inn, but are those guys staying at the funeral?
I think they walked back, so we'll say
Yeah.
that they probably eventually made it to the inn.
Yeah, we'll
Or
probably
the boat.
just have the inn or the boat the meeting place. That's what we should declare. Like if we ever get lost, then the meeting place would be like that place as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, because if it's the boat, then I would have after I felt like the coast was clear and I had a good cover, I would have left the inn,
Yeah.
then went to the boat.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's where we're meeting up, So when you send messages, is that just 100 yards?
Feet.
It's 120 feet.
And the reply can just be one line, and it can only be directly after a message.
Yep.
Yeah, but I can do it again. So like, if there's nothing important going on, then I'll just keep talking.
Yeah, I
Do
got you.
it back and forth. Like if no
So
one
then
can
always,
tell,
like, I
it
don't
doesn't matter.
like
But
I don't know if I can like generate a thought in my mind and say, Alondo, can you hear me? Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know how it worked.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you, like, if you can only say a message back, like when we were creeping around and like time is a consideration, then it's only like one line back and forth.
I got you.
But when we're on the boat just talking and or whatever, where we got, it doesn't matter.
That's a really useful skill.
Indeed
Insanely
it
useful.
is.
Yeah, that spell's pretty awesome.
It is. But then I could have mending. I chose that over mending, and mending's really cool. Basically, you can repair anything except for magic items.
Stuff.
What's that?
It could just repair all broken items, but
Yeah.
not like it's not for mending like
Pretty much.
like a medical skill, right?
No, it's for objects, inanimate objects, like boats.
Your boat would be fixed though. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
But I would have to
and-
spend like probably a whole day there at least doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Are your summoned pet creatures, whatever you would refer to them as, are they actual like magical creatures, or do they
I don't
count
know,
as
maybe-
real?
maybe you should ask.
Well, because
I'll
I
explain
wanted
it
to
to
do
you.
that tonight, but I didn't want to try to like pick up a pet that was actually like a spiritual pet. You know what I mean? Like if it's a magical cat, I'm not gonna try to like pick
You
up this
try,
cat.
Try it while playing.
I mean, I wanted to tonight. I literally thought
the
about
fun thing
that.
is
But
discovering. Just try it. Just try what you want.
I felt like my my ranger character would know that if this was like not a real animal.
I guess that would be animal handling to figure that one out, right?
Yep.
I mean, since you're a new player, you know, there's no reason why to give away all your discovery, you know. But
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't want you to. I mean, it's just what I was thinking that tonight,
yeah,
and it it was something I wanted to try, but I'm like, I don't know if that's even a real thing.
should try it. See what happens.
All right, guys, I'm gonna call it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Good night, everybody. It was fun. Good night.
See ya. Yeah.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye bye. Bye. Thanks for watching, guys.